Three sisters walked to the misty riverbank of Silver Falls, dressed in colorful tunics and bearing the weight of a centuries-old curse. To the villagers, they were brides offered to the great Serpent, the feared fertility god who demanded a sacrifice every generation. But the sisters weren't here to bow or submit. They carried hidden weapons, charms forged by secret priests, and a vow to end the serpent's reign forever. What happened next would challenge everything they believed about courage, loyalty, and the thin line between duty and compassion. The colossal serpent emerged from the waterfall mist, its eyes glowing with sorrow rather than hunger. Each generation of maidens had vanished into a shadowy limbo, leaving the serpent lonelier with every ritual. Now, these sisters faced a choice that could free countless lives, or bind one of them to a cursed existence forever. This is the story of Nia, Mira, and Sumi, warriors who came not as brides, but as guardians, who dared to confront an ancient god and a curse that had haunted their people for centuries. The river was alive, the serpent was watching, and the fate of Zecora hung by a thread. Before we dive deeper into this epic tale, we'd love to know where you are watching from. Tell us in the comments. And if you love high-stakes fantasy filled with mermaids, magic, love, and sacrifice, don't just watch, be part of our adventure. Like this video, share it with someone who loves powerful stories, and hit that subscribe button, because tomorrow, we've got an extra special story lined up for you, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. A huge thank you to all our amazing channel members. Your support helps us keep these magical tales alive and thriving. The sun rose slowly over the kingdom of Zecora, spilling gold light across the emerald hills and the winding silver river. From high above, the river tumbled in sparkling sheets down a great waterfall, sending silver mist curling into the morning air. This was Silver Falls, the heart of the kingdom. Its waters fed the fields, filled the village wells, and carried magic older than anyone could remember. But today, the air felt heavy, tense. The villagers of Zecora moved quietly along the riverbank, their bare feet brushing the dew-soaked grass. Mothers clutched their children. Fathers nodded at one another with worry in their eyes. The reason for their unease was as old as the kingdom itself. For generations, every family in Zecora had known the rule: 3 maidens must be offered to the great python who lived behind the Silver Falls. No one knew exactly what happened to those who were taken, but the villagers believed it was necessary. The serpent, a god of fertility, kept the waters flowing and the crops green. Without him, the land would wither. And this generation, the chosen maidens were 3 sisters. In a small hut on the hill above the falls, Nia, Mira, and Sumi rose with the dawn. Nia, the eldest, wore a tunic of warm ochre. Her skin glowed in the morning light, and her eyes shone with determination. She tied a strip of leather around her wrist, a charm of iron and flame hidden beneath the cloth. Mira, the middle sister, dressed in deep indigo. Her hair was braided neatly, beads glinting as she moved. She was careful and thoughtful, always questioning what others accepted without doubt. Sumi, the youngest, slipped on a soft forest green tunic. She was gentle-hearted, her gaze lingering on the small birds that hopped along the windowsill. Her pendant of carved bone hung around her neck, a weapon disguised as jewelry. "Are you ready?" Nia asked, her voice quiet but firm. Sumi hesitated. "Ready. But, are we doing the right thing?" "We have no choice," Nia said, tightening the strap on her tunic. "If we follow the Elder's path, we're just gifts to a monster. But we aren't gifts. We are sisters. We are warriors. And today, we take back our people's freedom." Mira bit her lip. "And if we fail," she whispered. "We won't fail," Nia replied. Her eyes flicked to the small chest where the sisters kept charms, knives, and pendants, the tools of the secret priests who had trained them. "We must believe. Or the cycle never ends." Outside, the villagers were gathering at the river's edge. The air smelled of wet moss, river lilies, and the faint tang of iron from the waterfall. Drums began to beat, slow and steady. The sound echoed through the valley, calling the sisters to their fate. The 3 sisters walked down the hill together, bare feet slipping on the damp grass. Their hearts beat in rhythm with the drums. They could hear whispers behind them, some people praying, others fearing. At the foot of Silver Falls, the mist curled around the stones like ghostly fingers. The roar of the waterfall filled their ears, and the sunlight caught on the droplets, scattering rainbows in every direction. This was the place where the serpent god lived. The place where generations of maidens had vanished. Nia, Mira, and Sumi knelt together on the mossy riverbank. Their heads bowed, their hands resting in their laps. To the villagers, they were brides ready to be offered. But beneath their tunics, charms of iron and flame pressed against their skin. In their pendants of wood, bone, and stone rested secret weapons. They were not brides. They were warriors. And the serpent god would soon discover that these sisters were unlike any he had ever known. The mist hung thicker now as Nia, Mira, and Sumi stepped onto the narrow path leading to the Silver Falls. The river roared beside them, its silver waters tumbling over stones slick with moss. Every splash, every hiss of the rushing water seemed louder than normal, as if the waterfall itself were warning them of what was to come. Behind them, the villagers followed, their faces drawn with fear and worry. Some whispered prayers to the serpent god, hoping he would accept the offering gently. Others muttered curses, saying that this generation of maidens would finally bring doom to Zecora. The sisters could feel the weight of all those eyes, watching their every step. Mira glanced at the river. "Do you think he'll even notice us? Or will he be angry?" Sumi's fingers touched the pendant around her neck. "He will notice. I can feel it in the air. He's always been watching." Nia walked ahead, her chin high, her ochre tunic bright against the misty green of the forest. "We're not here to please him," she said. "We're here to end the cycle." A sudden hush fell over the villagers. At the bend in the path, the first glimpse of the waterfall came into view. Silver mist drifted through the air, catching the sunlight and throwing tiny rainbows across the rocks. And beneath the roaring water, something stirred. "Do you see that?" Mira whispered, pointing toward the mist. Sumi's eyes widened. "I think it's him." From the shadows behind the waterfall, a massive shape began to move. The river seemed to part for it, as if the water itself bowed. A great coil of scales, green and gold, glimmered in the sunlight. The villagers gasped. Children clutched their mothers' skirts. Even the elders, who had seen offerings for decades, stepped back in fear. Nia's hand brushed against the hilt of her hidden knife. "Stay calm," she whispered to her sisters. "Remember, he's not just a serpent. He's cursed, and he's lonely. That's why the brides vanish." The serpent emerged from the mist, slowly, carefully, its enormous head rising above the water. Its eyes were pools of black, shining like wet stones in the sunlight. The scales along its body shimmered, reflecting silver from the waterfall. It opened its mouth, not to strike, but to speak. "Why do you come here, children of Zecora?" A deep, rumbling voice echoed, vibrating through the riverbank and into the hearts of all who listened. The villagers froze. Even the wind seemed to pause. Nia, her jaw tight, whispered to Mira and Sumi, "Remember our plan. We must be strong. We must not show fear." Sumi swallowed, her heart pounding. "But what if he's different from what we expect?" "He is," Nia said quietly. "And that is why we must be ready." The sisters knelt at the river's edge, their heads bowed. To the villagers, they were obedient brides. To themselves, they were warriors on the edge of a battle that could change Zecora forever. And the serpent watched them carefully, as if he had been waiting for this day for 100 generations. The roar of silver falls filled the air, crashing like thunder against the rocks. The mist curled around the sisters, clinging to their tunics and braids. Nia, Mira, and Sumi knelt with unwavering posture, though their hearts beat faster than the river's rush. The serpent's massive head lifted above the water, scales glinting like emeralds and gold. Its black eyes, deep and endless, seemed to see through the sisters' souls. It swayed slightly, the coils of its immense body rippling beneath the surface, sending tiny waves toward the riverbank. "Three daughters of Zecora," the serpent's voice rumbled, soft but filled with weight. "You come as offerings, yet I sense something different in your hearts. Why do you kneel before me?" Nia's fingers brushed the hidden knife at her side. Her voice was steady. "We kneel because tradition demands it. But we are not here to serve. We are here to end the cycle that has cursed our people for generations. A flicker of surprise passed across the serpent's immense face, though it was subtle, like the shift of sunlight on water. End the cycle, it asked, a note of curiosity in its rumble. Do you know what that means? To strike at me is to strike at the river, at the land that feeds your people. Sumi's hands tightened around the carved bone of her pendant. Her gentle voice trembled, but she spoke clearly. We know. But the cycle has brought nothing but sorrow. Maidens vanish. Families tremble in fear. You suffer alone, and yet the pain never ends. There must be another way. The serpent lowered its head closer, letting the mist curl around its jaw. You speak of sorrow, as if you know it. I have waited centuries for companions I cannot hold. Each maiden given to me is taken by the curse, trapped in shadows where I cannot touch them. Every generation, I grow lonelier, even as I am feared. Mira blinked, her indigo tunic clinging to her shoulders in the damp mist. You mean they are not killed? She asked softly, astonishment coloring her voice. They are not, the serpent said slowly. But neither are they free. They drift in limbo, unseen, unheard, waiting for the curse to release them. And with every passing generation, my longing grows heavier. My heart aches for what I cannot have. Nia's jaw tightened. So the curse is worse than any blade. Worse than death. Her eyes darted between her sisters. We cannot fail. We must end this, even if it means we fight a god. The serpent's gaze seemed to pierce through Nia's thoughts, into her very being. You do not understand. To strike me is not victory. To strike me may destroy the land. To strike me may doom yourselves. Sumi stepped forward slightly, mist swirling around her. Then tell us, is there a way to break the curse? Must someone truly stay at your side? Must the cycle never end? The serpent remained still for a long moment, the sun catching its scales like molten silver. There is a way, but it is dangerous. It is forbidden. And it demands a choice that could shatter your bond forever. Myra's lips parted. A choice, between what? The serpent's tongue flicked slowly. Between vengeance and mercy. Between the land and your hearts. Between freedom and sacrifice. For the first time, the sisters faltered. Nia's fierce determination wavered. Myra's caution felt heavier than ever. Sumi's gentle heart ached at the loneliness and sorrow she saw in the serpent's eyes. Behind them, the villagers whispered anxiously. Some begged silently for the serpent's wrath to be tempered. Others prayed for the sisters to fulfill their deadly duty. The roar of Silver Falls echoed through the valley, mingling with the thrum of the villagers' fear and the sisters' uncertainty. In that moment, kneeling before the serpent god, the sisters realized that their greatest battle was no longer just with the cursed python, it was with each other, and with the choices that would shape the fate of Zikora forever. The mist from Silver Falls clung to the sisters' tunics, heavy and cold, as they remained kneeling on the mossy riverbank. Nia's fingers brushed against the hidden iron knife at her side. Her heart thumped in rhythm with the waterfall. Though she had faced many trials in secret training, this was unlike anything she had ever encountered. Sumi's gaze stayed fixed on the serpent. Its massive head swayed slowly, and its black eyes glimmered with sadness rather than fury. She could feel the weight of centuries pressing down upon them. Nia, she whispered, we cannot just strike. Look at him, he's not a monster. He's trapped. Nia's jaw tightened. I know. But what choice do we have? If the curse continues, more maidens will vanish. More families will suffer. More generations will live in fear. Mira, crouched between her sisters, twisted the beaded pendant around her neck, a gift from the hidden priests. Maybe there's a way to do both, she said softly. We can protect the villagers and find a way to break the curse, if we are clever. The serpent shifted closer, letting the mist roll over its massive coils. Its tongue flicked slowly, tasting the air. Your words are wise, but your hearts are divided. Do you speak from courage, or from fear? Sumi swallowed hard. We speak from both, she admitted. We do not wish to harm you, but we cannot allow this to continue. The serpent's eyes softened, and it lowered its head slightly. Then listen carefully, daughters of Zikora. The curse was placed by the Sky Mother, jealous of my defiance. She decreed that every maiden offered would vanish into shadows, leaving me in endless longing. But there is a forbidden ritual, one that can release the maidens and break my chains. It is dangerous. It may require a sacrifice none can bear. Nia's hand tightened around the knife. A sacrifice? What kind of sacrifice? The serpent did not answer directly. Instead, it let the sisters glimpse, through the mist, faint shapes of maidens in shimmering shadows, reaching out, pleading silently. Their eyes were filled with longing, their forms barely touching the light of the river. Mira gasped. Those are the brides. All the ones before us. Yes, the serpent murmured. Each generation, the same sorrow. I am bound. They are bound. And yet, you come willingly, armed not to serve, but to fight. That is unusual. Sumi's voice wavered. We trained with the hidden priests. They told us how to fight, but also how to protect. We came not to destroy, but to find a way to end this, without more suffering. The serpent's massive coils rippled slowly, a sound like distant thunder rolling over the river. Then you are different, it said. Perhaps you are the first generation in centuries that can choose mercy over vengeance. But beware, there are those among your people who do not wish this curse to end. Nia frowned. What do you mean? From the shadow of the riverbank, a figure stepped forward. Cloaked in dark blue, an elder priest of Zikora revealed himself, his eyes glinting with ambition. His hands rested on a staff carved from ebony, etched with ancient runes. You speak of mercy, daughters of Zikora, he hissed. But mercy is weakness. The serpent is the power that holds this kingdom. End his reign, and you doom yourselves and all your people. Sumi felt a chill run down her spine. Mira whispered, so there is more at stake than we thought, the priest wants the curse to continue. Nia rose slowly to her knees, her ochre tunic clinging to her as she stared at the priest. We will not be intimidated. We will do what is right. The people suffer long enough. The serpent watched silently, its sorrowful eyes following the sisters. The choice is yours, it said quietly. Do you act from vengeance, or do you act from love? The wind from Silver Falls whipped around them, carrying the scent of wet moss, rainbows, and river lilies. The villagers held their breath, sensing that history itself was unfolding at the edge of the waterfall. And in that moment, the sisters knew, the path ahead was more dangerous than any training could prepare them for. They would face not only a cursed serpent, but also betrayal, fear, and the burden of impossible choices. The mist from Silver Falls clung to the sisters' braids and tunics, swirling around their ankles as if alive. Nia, Mira, and Sumi rose slowly from the mossy riverbank, their hidden weapons pressed against their sides. The villagers shuffled back, fearful of what might come next. The hidden priest remained a dark figure at the edge of the clearing, his staff tapping lightly against the stones. You think you understand power, he said, voice low and dangerous, but you have not seen the depths of it. The ritual that binds the serpent is older than your people, older than your kingdom. It is not meant to be broken lightly. Mira swallowed. Then why tell us, she asked, her indigo tunic darkened by the river mist. The priest's eyes glinted. Because some among you may choose foolish mercy. I warn you, it will cost everything. Sumi glanced at her sisters. Nia. Mira, we have trained for this. We cannot let fear decide our path. Nia nodded, determination hardening in her ochre eyes. We must see the ritual for ourselves. If we understand it, we can find the way to end the curse. The priest scoffed, but he gestured toward the shadowed edge of the riverbank, where the rocks grew jagged and dark. The ancient circle lies beyond those stones. But beware, the mist is not merely water. It holds spirits, echoes of those trapped in the curse. Many have entered, and few return unbroken. The sisters exchanged glances. Myra's hands tightened around her pendant. We have no choice, she said softly. The serpent remained in the water, its massive head tilting slightly as if acknowledging their decision. If you walk that path, Daughters of Zikora, you will see truths you cannot unsee. You may be tested in ways your hearts are not ready for. Nia stepped forward first, the mist swirling around her ochre tunic like a cloak. We are ready, she said firmly. Whatever comes, we face it together. The three sisters moved carefully over slick stones, the roar of silver falls filling their ears. Tiny shadows shifted in the mist, fleeting glimpses of the past maidens, their faces sorrowful and silent. Sumi reached out instinctively, though no one was there to touch. Do you see them? She whispered. Yes, Mira said, her voice tight. And we must not falter. We carry their hope with us. The jagged rocks led them to a circle of ancient stones, blackened by time and etched with glowing runes. The air was thick with magic, tingling against their skin. The hidden priest stepped back, watching, while the serpent remained half-submerged, observing from the river. Nia knelt and touched one of the stones. A surge of warmth ran through her hand, as if the stone itself remembered centuries of sorrow and longing. The ritual, she murmured. It's alive. A sudden whisper echoed around the circle, carried on the mist. The sisters froze. The shadows of the trapped brides moved like dancers, twisting and twirling around them. Their faces were blurred, their mouths open in silent pleas. Sumi shivered. They're reaching for us, they need help. Mira stepped closer. Then we must see this through. No turning back. From the depths of the circle, a faint golden light began to rise, illuminating the runes. The sisters felt the weight of the serpent's curse pressing upon them. The wind from Silver Falls seemed to sigh, carrying voices of the past and warnings of the future. Nia whispered to her sisters, we are here to fight, yes, but not with blood. We fight with courage, with heart. The curse can be broken, and we will find the way. The shadows of the limbo brides swirled faster, almost as if testing their resolve. The mist thickened, and the roar of the waterfall became deafening. And then, from the heart of the circle, a low hum began, a sound that seemed to pull at their very souls, urging them to step closer, to risk everything for the sake of Zikora. The sisters held hands instinctively, a chain of trust and determination. The first true trial of the ritual had begun. The mist in the ritual circle thickened, curling around Nia, Mira, and Sumi like living fingers. The roar of Silver Falls was deafening, yet beneath it, a faint whispering echoed, as if the voices of past maidens were carried by the wind. The sisters huddled close, hands clasped, feeling the weight of generations pressing upon them. A golden light rose from the runes carved into the black stones, bathing their faces in an eerie glow. Shadows of the trapped brides danced on the mist, their blurred forms stretching and twisting as though testing the sisters' courage. Do you feel that? Sumi whispered, her green tunic damp from the mist. It's calling to us. Yes, Nia said, her jaw tight. It's testing our hearts. The ritual isn't just magic, it's alive. She gripped the hilt of her hidden iron knife, though she knew this battle would not be won with weapons. We must be brave. We must be strong. The shadows began to separate from the mist, forming ghostly figures that reached toward them. Nia stepped forward, raising her hand. We mean no harm, she shouted. We come to help you. The shadows hesitated, wavering like candle flames in the wind. Then one of the figures emerged more clearly, a young maiden with a tunic of deep red, her face etched with sorrow. Why do you enter? She whispered, her voice echoing like a ghost. Do you seek to save, or to destroy? Mira swallowed, her indigo eyes wide. We seek to save, she said. We will not strike the serpent. We want to end the curse. To free you all. The ghostly maiden studied them for a long moment. Then the golden light around the runes pulsed, as if acknowledging their words. The other shadows began to gather, circling the sisters. Each face was a reflection of what had been lost, maidens trapped in limbo for generations, reaching for freedom. Sumi's voice trembled. We can do this. We must do this. Look at them, they're counting on us. Suddenly, the mist thickened even more, forming walls around the sisters. The shadows pressed closer, and a low hum vibrated through the ground. Nia felt the hum in her chest, deep and unsettling, pulling at her resolve. Hold on to each other, she shouted. We are not afraid. A new challenge appeared. The shadows began to mimic their movements, twisting their images in unnatural ways. Nia's reflection in the mist turned cruel, showing her striking down the serpent, blood on her hands. Myra's mirrored self cowered in fear. Sumi's image wept endlessly, powerless. They're showing us what could happen if we fail, Mira gasped, her hands clenching the pendant of wood and bone. We can't let fear control us. Nia took a deep breath, feeling the pull of the shadows. We face our fears together, she said firmly. We are not alone. We are sisters. And we will not let this curse continue. The shadows hesitated, then slowly began to dissolve, retreating into the mist. The golden light from the runes brightened, bathing the sisters in a warm glow. For a brief moment, the circle felt calm. From the water, a low rumble echoed, the serpent's voice, deep and resonant. You have passed the first trial, it said. Your hearts are true, but your courage will be tested further. The ritual is not done. You must understand the pain of those lost, and the temptation of power that may lure you from your path. Sumi exhaled, relief washing over her. We did it, she whispered. We survived. Mira shook her head, glancing at the shadows that lingered in the corners of the mist. This is only the beginning. The ritual has more tests, and we have no idea what is coming next. Nia nodded, her ochre eyes steady. Then we prepare. Together, we face whatever comes. The serpent, the curse, the shadows, we will not fail. Zikora's hope rests with us. The mist began to thin, and the roar of Silver Falls filled the air once more, stronger than ever. The sisters looked at one another, their bond deepened by the trial they had endured. Each knew that the road ahead would demand not only bravery, but also wisdom, sacrifice, and trust. And from the depths of the waterfall, the serpent watched, a silent witness to the sisters' first step into a destiny that would change the kingdom forever. The golden light of the ritual circle lingered around the sisters, casting long shadows across the blackened stones. The mist had thinned slightly, but a faint hum remained in the air, like the echo of voices long forgotten. Nia, Mira, and Sumi stood close together, hearts still racing from the trial of shadows. Suddenly, the air shifted. A chill ran through the circle, brushing against their skin and making the hair on their arms stand on end. From the depths of the mist, faint shapes began to emerge, tall, slender figures cloaked in shimmering silks of red, indigo, and green. Faces blurred at first, then slowly, their features became clear. These were the past maidens, the ones the serpent had spoken of, trapped in the curse for countless generations. Sumi gasped, stepping forward. They're real. They weren't just visions. Myra's hand went to her pendant. We have to listen. They are part of the curse. Maybe they can show us the way to end it. The figures moved closer, their forms gliding over the mist as if walking on air. One maiden, dressed in red and her hair flowing like the river itself, reached out toward the sisters. Her voice was soft, a whisper carried by the wind. Daughters of Zikora, you have come. We have waited for centuries for someone brave enough to face the serpent with hearts unclouded by fear or vengeance. Nia bowed her head slightly, respect and resolve in her eyes. We are here to free you. To end the curse. The maiden in red shook her head slowly. The curse is not so simple. Many who sought to free us were tempted. Power, glory, some gave in to anger, some to fear. The serpent is not your enemy, but the trial will test more than your strength. It will test your hearts, your loyalty, and your understanding of sacrifice. A younger maiden, her tunic faded and torn, stepped forward next. You will see the faces of those who came before. Some were brave. Some faltered. All vanished into the shadows. Learn from us. The ritual does not forgive mistakes. Mira swallowed hard. We are ready. Tell us what we must do. The shadows began to circle the sisters, weaving and twisting through the mist. Slowly, Nia, Mira, and Sumi were lifted from the ground, not by hands, but by the power of the ritual itself. They floated, their feet no longer touching the stones, as the visions of past maidens formed around them, showing flashes of the serpent's past interactions. They saw maidens kneeling, trembling before the serpent, their faces a mix of fear and awe. They saw those same maidens vanish into the shadows, disappearing into the limbo of the curse. And they saw moments of loneliness in the serpent, its massive head bowed, eyes glistening with sorrow, coils wrapped around the empty waters of the river. Sumi's voice trembled. He didn't want this. None of them did. Nia's fingers clenched the hilt of her hidden knife. Then we must end it. Not through anger, but through understanding. That is the only way. The red-cloaked maiden nodded. The path ahead will demand courage. It will demand trust in each other. One of you may be asked to stay, to serve as the bridge between the serpent and the world of the living. But if you succeed, the curse will end, and freedom will return to Zecora. Myra's eyes widened. One of us must stay. Yes, the maiden replied gently. The serpent's heart has known centuries of loneliness. Only a willing companion can anchor him as the curse is lifted. The choice is yours to make, and it will test the bond you share as sisters. The mists whirled faster, carrying the whispers of the lost maidens. Nia, Myra, and Sumi held hands instinctively, their determination renewed. They had faced fear and shadows, but the hardest trial lay ahead. A choice that could fracture their sisterhood, challenge their courage, and determine the fate of the serpent, the lost maidens, and the kingdom itself. From the river, a low rumble echoed, the serpent observing, waiting, silent yet expectant. The sisters understood now, this was not just a battle of blades or magic. It was a battle of hearts, and every decision would shape the future of Zecora for generations to come. The mist around the ritual circle thickened again, curling around the sisters like tendrils of smoke. Nia, Myra, and Sumi stood hand in hand, their eyes fixed on the golden runes etched into the black stones. The shadows of the past maidens hovered just beyond the light, their faces solemn, urging the sisters forward. Nia took a deep breath, her ochre tunic clinging to her skin from the waterfall spray. "This is it," she whispered. "The trial truly begins now. Stay close, sisters. We cannot falter." Sumi nodded, her green eyes wide. "We must follow the ritual, even if we don't understand everything. The shadows know what we cannot yet see." Myra, always cautious, glanced at the stones. "The runes are alive. I can feel them, like they're pulsing with energy. We need to step carefully, or the circle may punish us." The red-cloaked shadow maiden stepped forward. "To break the curse, you must first confront illusions. The circle will show you the desires and fears that bind you. Only by facing them together can you advance." Without warning, the mist shifted, and the sisters found themselves in a different place. The roar of the waterfall faded, replaced by a dark forest, tangled and endless. Twisted trees reached out like hands, their shadows stretching far across the mossy ground. Strange whispers echoed from every direction, calling their names. Nia gritted her teeth. "It's an illusion, stay close." Suddenly, each sister saw a vision crafted from her own heart. Nia saw herself striking down the serpent, the river turning black, villagers screaming in despair. Her own face twisted in rage, the weight of vengeance consuming her. Myra saw herself turning away, paralyzed by fear, abandoning her sisters, leaving Sumi to face the serpent alone. Her chest tightened with guilt, and she struggled to breathe. Sumi saw visions of the trapped maidens reaching for her, crying silently, their voices echoing in her mind. She felt helpless, tears welling in her eyes. "Do not succumb," Nia shouted, shaking off the vision. She reached for her sisters. "We are together. We control our hearts, not these illusions." Myra gripped Nia's hand, finding strength in her sister's determination. "You're right. Together, we are stronger than fear." Sumi wiped her tears and tightened her grip. "We are not just warriors of iron or bone. We are warriors of heart, of love, and courage. That is what breaks curses." The forest around them began to shimmer, the shadows dissolving into golden light. They found themselves back in the ritual circle, the golden runes glowing brighter than ever. The red-cloaked shadow nodded approvingly. You have faced the first trial of the ritual. Fear, anger, and despair cannot sway you. But the next trial will test your bond more deeply. One will be asked to choose the path of sacrifice, the other's the path of protection. Only unity can carry you forward. Nia looked at her sisters, her ochre eyes burning with determination. We will face it. Whatever comes, we face it together. The serpent, the curse, the shadows, nothing will break our bond. From the depths of Silver Falls, a low rumble sounded, the serpent's voice, observing, patient, and expectant. The sisters knew that the next stage of the ritual would demand everything: courage, wisdom, and the strength of their hearts. And beyond the mist, the future of Zecora waited, fragile and uncertain. The golden runes glowed brighter than ever as Nia, Mira, and Sumi stood in the heart of the ritual circle. The mist curled around them like living fingers, carrying whispers of the past maidens and the weight of centuries-long sorrow. The sisters could feel the pull of the ritual, an invisible force pressing on their hearts, testing not just their courage, but the strength of their bond. A low rumble echoed from the river, and the serpent's massive head emerged from the misty water, eyes reflecting the golden light of the runes. Its voice resonated in their minds. The first choice awaits, daughters of Zecora. One of you must step forward, to take a path that may separate her from the others. A path of sacrifice, to anchor the curse and guide it to its end. The others will protect, will guide, and will support. Choose wisely, for the bond of sisterhood will be tested. Sumi's green eyes widened. One of us, to stay. She glanced at her sisters, panic mixing with compassion. I cannot let you face that alone. Nia's ochre eyes burned with determination. None of us will falter. We came to face this together. If one must stay, it will not be without our consent. We decide as sisters, not as pawns. Myra's indigo eyes flicked between them, her hand tightening around the pendant of bone and wood. But the ritual demands it. Perhaps one of us must willingly take that path. Otherwise, the curse cannot be broken. If we hesitate, all will remain trapped forever. The serpent's gaze softened, sadness rippling across its massive features. The choice is yours. Courage will guide you, but only the heart can bear the weight of sacrifice. The mist thickened, forming ghostly paths that led from the circle into shimmering pools of light. Each path seemed to call out, presenting visions of what lay ahead. One path led to a shadowed chamber where the trapped maidens floated, waiting for release. Another path shimmered with the knowledge of power and understanding, a chance to learn the secrets of the ritual but risk being consumed by the curse. Sumi looked down at her hands. I can't decide. I love you both too much. I cannot leave you. Nia stepped closer, placing a hand on Sumi's shoulder. We will not make this choice lightly. But understand this, the path of sacrifice may demand more than courage. It may demand love, trust, and the willingness to face eternity for the sake of others. Myra's voice was barely a whisper. Then we must speak honestly. Nia. Sumi, if one of us is to stay, who will it be? None of us can force the other. It must be willing, or the ritual may turn against us. The shadows of past maidens swirled closer, their silent faces urging understanding and bravery. They had waited for centuries, and now the choice rested on the sisters' hearts. Nia's hand drifted toward her hidden blade, but she did not draw it. Instead, she clenched her fists, drawing strength from her sisters. We are brave enough to choose love over vengeance. Strong enough to choose the future over fear. One of us may need to stay, but it will not break our bond. We will endure, together, no matter what the ritual demands. The serpent lowered its colossal head closer to the circle. Decide now, daughters of Zecora. The fate of the trapped maidens, the river, and the kingdom rests on your hearts. Your sisterhood will be tested, and only true courage will prevail. The mist swirled violently, the air thick with tension. The sisters held hands once more, hearts pounding in unison. Their eyes met, silently communicating love, trust, and determination. One would face the path of sacrifice, but who, and how, would they decide? The first real choice of the ritual had arrived. And in that choice, their hearts, their bond, and the future of Zecora would hang in delicate balance. The mist hung thick and heavy around the ritual circle, curling around the sisters like ghostly fingers. Nia, Mira, and Sumi stood hand in hand, hearts pounding, as the serpent's colossal head dipped closer to the golden runes. Its eyes, pools of sorrow and wisdom, watched them silently. "You have reached the path of sacrifice," the serpent rumbled. "One of you must step forward. Your courage will guide the curse toward its end. Your bond will protect the one who stays. Choose willingly, or the cycle will continue." Sumi's green eyes widened. I cannot bear to see one of us left behind," she whispered, her voice trembling. Nia tightened her grip on her sister's hand, ochre eyes burning with determination. "None of us will be forced. We choose together. We are stronger together. But we must act. Hesitation will doom everyone trapped in the curse." Myra's indigo gaze flicked between them. "The path is clear. Someone must be willing. If we falter, the trapped maidens, the serpent, and the river itself will remain in torment." The mist began to part, revealing 3 shimmering paths of light, each leading toward a different vision. The first showed a shadowed chamber where the trapped maidens floated silently, waiting for release. The second shimmered with the knowledge of the ritual, a path of understanding but fraught with danger. The third glimmered with the serpent itself, a path where the chosen one would remain by its side, anchoring the curse as it was lifted. Sumi swallowed hard. "One of us must walk that path with him. I feel it calling to me." Nia placed a steady hand on Sumi's shoulder. "Are you sure? Once you step forward, there's no turning back. You will face the loneliness of centuries, the weight of the curse itself." "I am sure," Sumi said, her voice quivering but firm. "If we are to end this, I will take the path. You two must continue the ritual, protect the circle, and guide me if needed. We can do this, together." Myra's eyes welled with tears, but she nodded. "Then we stand with you, sister. Always." Nia lowered her head, respect and pride in her ochre eyes. "We will not fail. Your courage is our strength. Go, Sumi. Anchor the curse. We will follow with our hearts." With a deep breath, Sumi stepped onto the path of shimmering light. The mist swirled violently around her, the whispers of past maidens growing louder, urging her forward. She could feel the weight of centuries pressing on her, the sorrow of the trapped maidens, and the loneliness of the serpent intertwining into a tangible force. Nia and Mira reached out instinctively, holding her hands until the very last moment. "We are with you," Nia said. "In heart, in spirit, in everything." Sumi closed her eyes, feeling the pull of the path, the hum of magic vibrating through the air, and the silent gaze of the serpent guiding her. She stepped forward fully, and the golden light enveloped her completely. The circle shimmered as the mist parted, revealing the remaining 2 paths. Nia and Mira knew their trial had only begun. They were now the protectors, the guides, and the guardians of the ritual's future. They had faced fear, illusions, and the first choice, but the deeper tests were yet to come. From the depths of Silver Falls, the serpent's voice echoed softly, almost a whisper. "You have chosen well. The bond of sisterhood strengthens the path, but sacrifice is never without cost. The ritual continues, daughters of Zecora, and the fate of the river, the lost maidens, and your hearts will now be revealed." The mist thickened once more, carrying the voices of the trapped brides, the roar of the falls, and the silent weight of destiny. Nia and Mira exchanged a glance, their hands clasped tightly. "We do this together," Mira whispered. "Yes," Nia agreed, her jaw firm. "No matter the trials, no matter the shadows, we endure." And so, the ritual advanced, testing the sisters in ways they could not yet imagine. As the golden runes pulsed with power, the serpent waited patiently, and the first true sacrifice had begun. The golden runes of the ritual circle pulsed softly, casting long shadows across the mossy stones as Nia and Mira stood alone. The mist from Silver Falls swirled around them, dense and heavy, carrying whispers of past maidens and the faint hum of the serpent's watchful presence. Sumi had stepped onto the path of sacrifice, leaving the remaining sisters with the solemn responsibility of protection. Nia's ochre eyes scanned the shifting mist. "We have to stay vigilant," she said, her voice firm. "Sumi has begun the first step of the ritual. We are the guardians now." Myra's indigo eyes were wide, reflecting the golden light. "I understand. But the circle, it's alive. I can feel it probing us, testing our resolve." Before Nia could respond, shadows began to form in the mist. Twisted shapes, not quite human, not quite spirits, crept closer. Their eyes glowed faintly, and their whispers carried a strange, unsettling cadence. "They're testing us," Nia said, drawing an invisible line of defense in the air. "The circle wants to see if we can protect the ritual, protect each other, even without Sumi here." Mira nodded, her hand gripping the pendant of bone and wood. "Then we face them together. Nothing else matters." The shadows lunged, forming illusions that mirrored Nia and Myra's deepest fears. One showed Nia striking Mira in a moment of anger, her hand stained with imaginary blood. Another showed Mira abandoning Nia, leaving her alone to face the serpent and the curse. Nia gritted her teeth, shaking off the vision. "It's not real," she shouted. "We control our actions, not these illusions." Mira took a deep breath and extended her hand toward Nia. "Together," she said firmly. "We face this together." As their hands clasped, the golden runes flared, and the shadows recoiled, writhing before dissipating into mist. The sisters exchanged a glance, both relieved and strengthened. But the circle had more to test. From the mist, 3 spectral figures emerged, past guardians who had failed the ritual. Their eyes glimmered with sorrow, and their hands reached out as if seeking to pull Nia and Mira into the shadows. "You must learn from us," one whispered, voice echoing like the rush of the waterfall. "Fail, and your sister will be lost. Fail, and the curse will claim more than the serpent. Fail, and Zikora will weep forever." Myra's voice trembled. "We will not fail. We have each other. That is enough." Nia's hand rested on the pendant of iron hidden beneath her tunic. "We are not afraid. The circle cannot break our bond, nor the shadows of the past." The spectral guardians advanced, testing their resolve with visions of power, temptation, and fear. Nia and Mira held fast, each step taken with unwavering trust in the other. With every challenge, the golden runes shone brighter, the mist lifting slightly as the ritual acknowledged their courage. Finally, the spectral figures dissolved, leaving only the sisters and the glowing runes. Nia exhaled, her body trembling with the strain of the trial. "We did it, the circle, it recognizes our strength." Mira nodded, her voice soft but resolute. "We are ready for whatever comes next. Sumi has taken the first step. Now it is our turn to guide, protect, and endure." From the depths of the waterfall, the serpent's voice echoed, calm and patient. "You have passed the trial of guardianship. You have proven your hearts are true, your bond unbroken. But the ritual is far from over. Darkness and temptation will continue to test you, daughters of Zikora. Only those who endure with courage and love will see the end." The sisters exchanged a glance, understanding that the path ahead would demand more than bravery. It would demand sacrifice, wisdom, and a trust that reached beyond fear. The mist swirled once more, carrying with it the echoes of centuries, the roar of the waterfall, and the silent gaze of the serpent, waiting for the trials that were yet to come. The golden runes of the ritual circle pulsed steadily, bathing Nia and Mira in warm, flickering light. The mist from Silver Falls hung thick around them, curling in ghostly tendrils that whispered secrets of the past. Sumi's absence on the path of sacrifice was a silent weight upon their hearts, yet it strengthened their resolve. "Stay close," Nia murmured, her ochre eyes sharp with focus. "The circle will test our hearts now." Mira nodded, indigo eyes scanning the shifting mist. "I can feel it, something is coming. A temptation, I think." Suddenly, the shadows parted, revealing visions that shimmered like heat waves over water. Each sister saw an illusion tailored to her deepest desires. For Nia, a vision of ultimate power, a chance to wield the magic of the serpent, command the rivers, and become the protector of Zikora forever. Her hands itched to grasp it. Mira saw a vision of safety and comfort. She watched herself walking away from the ritual, Sumi safe, the kingdom prosperous, and her own life free from danger. A pang of guilt twisted in her chest. Could she abandon her duty for the promise of peace? The vision spoke in silken whispers, coaxing them toward choice. Take the power, Nia. End all fear. Become more than mortal. Protect your people, one voice tempted. Step away, Mira, another whispered, and let the danger pass. Sumi will succeed. You will remain unharmed. Nia's jaw clenched, her hand hovering near the hidden blade at her waist. This is not real, she said, voice firm. The ritual wants to break us by showing what we desire most. But we have each other, and we are stronger together. Myra's fingers tightened around her pendant. Yes, together. Our bond is stronger than illusions. I will not falter. The mist thickened, swirling violently, carrying with it echoes of the past maiden's sorrow. Shadows formed behind the visions, faces twisted in silent pleading, warning of failure, pain, and regret. Nia and Mira held their ground, hearts pounding, fighting the seductive pull of the illusions. You are brave, the serpent's voice rumbled softly from the mist, calm yet resonant. Courage is more than strength of body. It is mastery of the heart, the will to resist desire when it leads astray. You have shown this. But the path grows more treacherous. The illusions shattered, leaving the sisters blinking in the fading mist. The golden runes glowed brighter, acknowledging their resolve. Nia exhaled, her shoulders relaxing slightly. We resisted, she said. The circle cannot sway us with false promises. Mira nodded, her gaze distant. It tested more than our strength. It tested our hearts, our desires, and our loyalty to each other. We passed, but only barely. From the depths of Silver Falls, the low rumble of the serpent echoed once more, a gentle vibration in the ground. You have faced temptation and held true. But the trials ahead will challenge more than courage and loyalty. They will demand sacrifice, wisdom, and the deepest understanding of love. The ritual continues, daughters of Zikora, and the heart of the curse awaits your next steps. Nia and Mira exchanged a determined glance, hands clasped once more. They had faced illusions of power and desire, resisting the temptations of the circle. But now, the sisters understood that the trials would grow more complex, and the cost of failure more severe. The mist swirled around them, the golden runes pulsing like a heartbeat. The path of the ritual stretched ahead, mysterious, perilous, and inevitable. Together, the sisters stepped forward, ready to face whatever the serpent, the circle, and the shadows of the past had in store. The golden runes of the ritual circle pulsed steadily, their warm glow cutting through the thick mist that clung to the sisters like a living cloak. Nia and Mira stood side by side, hands tightly clasped, knowing Sumi's sacrifice had left a silent weight upon their hearts. The air was heavy, saturated with centuries of sorrow, loss, and the faint scent of wet moss from Silver Falls. Something is coming, Mira whispered, indigo eyes scanning the mist. I can feel it, the shadows of the lost maidens. They are near. Nia nodded, ochre eyes sharp and alert. Then we face them together. The circle will test our resolve by showing the cost of failure. Remember, these shadows are echoes, not reality. They cannot touch what we hold true. From the swirling mist, figures began to emerge, ghostly maidens, translucent and trembling, faces twisted with sorrow, fear, and longing. Their eyes glimmered like dim stars, reaching toward Nia and Mira as if pleading for rescue. A cold whisper slithered through the mist. Free us, or be trapped as we are. Break the circle, or share our fate. Myra's hand trembled as she gripped the pendant of bone and wood. They're trapped in the curse. Sumi must be feeling the same weight. We have to help them without losing ourselves. Nia stepped forward, voice firm. We will not falter. We will face the shadows, not with anger or fear, but with courage and understanding. The shadows surged closer, forming a wall of spectral figures. Each one projected visions of what could have been, villages in ruin, rivers turned to dust, families grieving for daughters lost forever. The images were vivid, almost tangible, pressing upon the sisters' hearts like stones. Mira gasped. They're showing us the consequences. If we fail, this will be our world. Nia's jaw tightened. Then we cannot fail. We must act. Focus on their pain, not our fear. Let our hearts guide us. Closing her eyes, Nia raised her hands, channeling the energy of the runes and the bond she shared with Mira. Mira mirrored her movements, heart synchronized with her sister's. A soft hum filled the air as the runes flared, bathing the circle in golden light that touched the shadows. The ghostly maidens hesitated, their forms flickering like candle flames. We are trapped," one whispered, voice quivering. "We have been forgotten, lost to the curse." Mira stepped forward, voice steady. "You are not forgotten. We see you. Your pain is not in vain. We will end the curse, and your suffering will end too. Trust in us." The shadows began to waver, some reaching out to touch the sisters, others retreating into the mist. Slowly, the light of the runes strengthened, and the mist around the ritual circle began to lift. The ghostly maidens, voices soft with gratitude, dissolved into golden sparks that drifted upward toward the falls. Nia exhaled, relief and determination flooding her senses. "We did it, we helped them, without losing ourselves." Mira nodded, placing a hand on Nia's shoulder. "But this is only the beginning. The ritual grows stronger, the trials more dangerous. Sumi's path, our path, they are all connected. We cannot fail now." From the depths of Silver Falls, the serpent's low rumble echoed, calm but resonant. "You have faced the shadows of the lost with compassion and courage. You honor the bond of sisterhood, and you honor the heart of the ritual. But trials of wisdom and sacrifice await. The curse is not yet broken, daughters of Zikora. Proceed, and let your hearts guide the next step." The sisters exchanged a determined glance, the bond between them stronger than ever. The shadows had tested their empathy, courage, and understanding of the consequences of failure. Now, they were ready to face whatever the circle, and the serpent, would demand next. The golden runes glowed brighter than before, the mist parted slightly, and the path ahead shimmered with uncertainty and possibility. Nia and Mira stepped forward, hearts resolute, prepared to confront the trials that would decide not only their fates, but the fate of Zikora itself. The golden runes pulsed like a heartbeat across the mossy stones of the ritual circle, their light cutting through the dense mist from Silver Falls. Nia and Mira stood side by side, muscles tense, hearts pounding. The echoes of the freed shadows of the lost maidens still lingered in the air, their soft golden sparks drifting into the mist. But there was no time for rest, the circle demanded the next trial. "The trial of courage begins," the serpent's voice rumbled from the depths of the falls, low and steady, vibrating through the sisters' bones. "Fear will seek to weaken you. Danger will take form. Only the brave may proceed." Nia's ochre eyes scanned the mist. "Stay close," she whispered to Mira, her hand hovering near the hidden charm of iron at her waist. "Whatever comes, we face it together." The mist shifted, condensing into towering forms, giant serpentine illusions that slithered across the runes like living shadows. Their scales shimmered with an unnatural light, fangs gleaming, eyes glowing with menace. The sisters could hear the hiss of wind and the phantom snapping of teeth, and the air smelled faintly of wet earth and decay. Mira swallowed hard. "They're illusions, but they feel real. Nia, what do we do?" Nia drew a steady breath. "We move together. Step in unison. Trust your instincts." The first illusion lunged, a massive serpent coiling with terrifying speed. Nia and Mira leapt aside in perfect coordination, dodging its fangs. They felt the pulse of the runes beneath their feet, guiding them, lending strength to their muscles and clarity to their minds. Another illusion appeared, this one a shifting maze of jagged stones and rushing water, the river bending and twisting unnaturally. The sisters' eyes widened as they realized the circle was testing not just their bravery, but their ability to move with precision, trust, and communication. Mira reached for Nia's hand, and together they navigated the treacherous terrain, weaving through illusions that threatened to crush, trap, or ensnare them. Each step demanded focus, agility, and unwavering trust. A sudden roar echoed through the mist, and the largest illusion emerged, a colossal serpent, its eyes like molten gold, fangs dripping with spectral venom. Nia's heart pounded, but she gritted her teeth and whispered to Mira, "We are stronger than fear. Remember our bond." Together, they faced the giant illusion, moving in perfect synchrony. Nia struck with a charm of iron hidden beneath her tunic, while Mira guided the energy of the golden runes toward the illusion. The serpent hissed, recoiling as light and iron combined, until it finally dissipated into mist. The circle fell silent, the runes glowing steadily, acknowledging their victory. Nia exhaled, muscles trembling. "We did it," the trial accepted our courage. Mira placed a hand on Nia's shoulder, her indigo eyes shining. And together. Alone, we might have failed. But our bond, it carried us through. From the depths of the waterfall, the serpent's voice echoed softly. "You have faced fear and danger with bravery and trust. You honor the circle, and you honor the heart of the ritual. But the path ahead grows darker still. Trials of wisdom, sacrifice, and heart await. Proceed, daughters of Zikora, for only the brave and the united may see the end." The mist shifted once more, revealing a path that glimmered faintly with golden light. Nia and Mira exchanged a determined glance, knowing that each step forward would test not only their courage but their hearts, minds, and the very bond that held them together. With hands clasped, they stepped forward, ready to face whatever the circle, and the serpent, would demand next. The golden runes of the ritual circle glowed faintly, casting eerie reflections across the mossy stones and the swirling mist of Silver Falls. Nia and Mira stood side by side, breathing heavily from the trial of courage. Their muscles still ached, but their minds were far from at ease. The serpent's deep rumble echoed from the falls, calm but potent, a constant reminder that the ritual was far from over. "The circle tests more than our bravery," Mira whispered, her indigo eyes scanning the mist. "It tests our trust. I can feel it, something is coming." Nia's ochre eyes narrowed. "Whatever it is, we face it together. Nothing can break our bond." Suddenly, the mist thickened, darkening to nearly black. Shapes moved within it, flickering like broken shadows. Then, without warning, Mira saw a vision of Nia stepping forward and striking her with a hidden blade. Her heart leapt in shock. "Nia!" Mira gasped, stumbling back. Why would you?" Nia froze, equally horrified. She saw a mirrored illusion of Mira abandoning her, walking calmly out of the ritual circle, leaving Nia alone to face the serpent's wrath. "Mira! I would never," she shouted, but the vision clung to their senses, whispering fears of betrayal and distrust. The shadows around them swirled, voices hissing with false truths. "She cannot be trusted," one whispered into Mira's mind. "She will leave you. She will betray you. And she hides anger," another hissed into Nia's ears. "Your bond is fragile. One misstep, one doubt, and all will fall." Nia's hand twitched near her hidden charm, but she forced herself to take a deep breath. "This is not real," she said aloud. "These are illusions meant to divide us. Our bond is stronger than their lies." Mira clenched her fists, focusing on Nia's steady gaze. "I trust you," she said firmly. "Nothing can break us. We face this together." The shadows responded with a surge of movement, forming a swirling vortex that threatened to separate them physically, pulling at their balance and strength. Nia and Mira stepped forward, hands tightly clasped, resisting the illusion's tug. They repeated their oath silently, hearts synchronized, together, no matter the test. The golden runes flared brightly, reacting to their unity, and the shadows recoiled, shrinking back into the mist. The visions of betrayal dissolved, leaving only the sisters, breathing hard, hearts pounding with adrenaline and relief. We survived it," Mira whispered, voice trembling. "The circle tried to make us doubt each other, tried to break us from within. But we held fast." Nia nodded, placing a steady hand on Mira's shoulder. "Our bond is our strength. The circle cannot twist what is real. Together, we are unbreakable." From the depths of Silver Falls, the serpent's voice rumbled softly, reverent and patient. "You have faced the illusion of betrayal and remained steadfast. You honor each other, and in doing so, you honor the heart of the ritual. But the path ahead grows more complex. Wisdom, courage, and heart will continue to intertwine. Proceed, daughters of Zikora, for the trials of the soul are yet to come. The mist began to thin, revealing the next segment of the ritual circle glowing faintly with golden light. Nia and Mira exchanged a determined glance, knowing that the real challenges were not only physical but deeply tied to the strength of their hearts and the unbreakable bond between sisters. With hands clasped, hearts synchronized, and courage renewed, they stepped forward, ready to face the next trial that awaited them beyond the mists of Silver Falls. The mist around Silver Falls had begun to thin, revealing the shimmering waters and moss-covered stones that lined the ritual circle. Golden runes pulsed softly beneath Nia and Myra's feet, a constant heartbeat of energy connecting them to the ancient magic of the serpent and the path of the ritual. Yet the serenity was deceptive. The circle now demanded more than courage or trust, it demanded a choice. A deep, resonant voice rolled from the waterfall, carrying authority and sorrow. Daughters of Zikora, the next trial is upon you. Only one may pass unscathed. The path of the other will demand sacrifice, an act of heart and spirit that will determine the fate of the ritual. Myra's indigo eyes widened. Sacrifice? What must we do? Nia's ochre gaze hardened. We will face it together, Mira. Whatever comes, we will decide as one. From the mist, 3 paths materialized, each glowing with golden light. At the entrance of the first path floated the ethereal form of Sumi, her face calm but distant, as if suspended between reality and the shadows of the curse. A whisper reached the sisters' minds, only one may walk freely. The other must remain until the ritual is complete. Myra's voice trembled. One of us must stay. Yes, the voice of the serpent rumbled. The ritual cannot be completed without this choice. You may decide by courage, wisdom, or heart, but the path will exact its toll. Nia swallowed hard, feeling the weight of the decision pressing upon her chest. We cannot falter. Our bond, our love for each other, that is our guide. The golden runes flared brighter, and illusions appeared along each path, visions of fear, loss, and loneliness designed to sway their hearts. One showed Nia stepping forward, leaving Mira behind, the weight of guilt crushing her chest. Another showed Mira abandoning Nia, watching the world fall to shadows without her sister's guidance. Each path tested the heart, revealing the deepest fears and desires of the sisters. Mira reached for Nia's hand. We must decide together. We cannot let fear guide us. The heart of the ritual will judge the strength of our choice, not the power of our fear. Nia nodded, closing her eyes. We trust each other. We are sisters. One may walk the path of sacrifice, but we remain united in spirit. The mist swirled, forming the image of the serpent, its colossal eyes glimmering with sorrow and understanding. The choice is yours. One must remain with me to complete the ritual. This act will break the cycle, or bind it forever. Decide, daughters of Zikora. The sisters glanced at each other, the bond forged through trials, courage, and trust holding them firm. They knew that whichever path they chose, it would not break them, it would define them. Finally, Nia spoke, voice steady and unwavering. I will stay. I will endure the ritual at the serpent's side. Mira, you must continue. Protect Zikora, free the maidens, and complete the path we began together. Myra's eyes filled with tears, but she nodded, understanding the depth of Nia's sacrifice. No, we do this together. Our hearts are one. But if you must, then we honor your courage, Nia. The bond cannot be broken. The mist shifted once more, revealing a single golden path leading toward the depths of the waterfall. Nia stepped forward, heart steady, hand raised to Mira in silent farewell. The serpent's voice echoed, softer now, almost like a sigh. You have chosen with courage and heart. The path of sacrifice is not one of despair, but of love and unity. The ritual continues, and the cycle may yet be broken. Proceed, and let the hearts of the brave guide the fate of Zikora. Mira stood at the edge of the circle, hands clasped, watching as Nia disappeared into the misty path. The golden runes pulsed brighter, as if acknowledging the choice made, and the roar of Silver Falls carried the weight of centuries, echoing with hope, sorrow, and the promise of what was yet to come. The golden path twisted into the thickest part of the Silver Falls mist, where sunlight barely pierced the curtain of cascading water. Nia's ochre tunic clung to her as she stepped carefully over slick mossy stones, each one glowing faintly underfoot from the rune's energy. She could feel the pulse of the ritual beneath her feet, as if the ground itself carried the heartbeat of the serpent. The colossal figure of the serpent emerged from the swirling mist ahead. Its scales shimmered with muted golds and dark greens, wet from the waterfall spray, each glint like a shard of light. Its eyes, vast and sorrowful, regarded Nia as she approached, not with hunger, but with patient expectation. "You have chosen the path of sacrifice," the serpent's voice rumbled softly, reverberating through the mist. "Step forward, and face the heart of the curse. Only through understanding can it be broken." Nia swallowed, the weight of her choice pressing on her chest. "I am ready," she said, voice steady though her hands trembled slightly near the hidden charm at her waist. "I will endure whatever the ritual demands." The serpent's body coiled slowly, creating a circle that glowed with golden runes along the wet stones. "Then see, Nia, the truth that has been hidden for generations. Look into the heart of what you fight, and let your spirit guide your actions." The mist thickened, swirling around her, and visions appeared, villages once prosperous now dry and barren, maidens trapped in limbo, tears flowing into rivers that had long since turned to dust. The illusions pressed upon her, showing the devastating consequences of failure. Nia's heart ached for the lost maidens, for Sumi, and for Mira who waited beyond the mist. "You must understand," the serpent continued, its voice like water rolling over stones. "The curse is not simple. I do not wish to harm, I am bound, longing for companionship I cannot truly hold. To break this, you must choose between vengeance and healing." Nia's mind whirled. She thought of Mira, of Sumi, of every maiden lost to the river's shadows. The rage that had fueled her resolve now mixed with pity and empathy. Could she truly end the curse with violence, or would understanding, compassion, and courage be the only path? The mist formed another vision, closer, more intimate, the serpent alone in the darkness of the waterfall cave, eyes wide and sorrowful, scales glistening, a silent plea for companionship etched into his very being. Nia's breath caught. This was no tyrant. This was a soul trapped in an unending cycle of longing. "I see you," Nia whispered, voice soft. "I see your pain. I will not strike blindly. There is a way to end this curse without more suffering." The serpent's eyes shimmered, reflecting the golden runes. "Then step forward, Nia of Zikora. Show the courage of heart that binds all who walk these trials. The ritual will judge your choice, and through your understanding, the cycle may end, or endure. Your path begins now." Nia's hand touched the golden light of the runes, feeling warmth spread through her. Her choice had been made, not vengeance, but compassion, not destruction, but healing. The mist thickened around her, wrapping her in a cocoon of light, preparing her for the trial that would define the fate of Zikora, the serpent, and her own spirit. The roar of Silver Falls surged, louder than before, a symphony of power, sorrow, and anticipation. Nia took a deep breath, her heart steady, and stepped fully into the heart of the serpent, ready to face the ultimate trial. Nia stepped fully into the heart of the serpent, the golden runes beneath her feet blazing with radiant energy. The mist clung to her like a living veil, swirling around her as if aware of the weight of her choice. The roar of Silver Falls filled her ears, a symphony of power and sorrow that seemed to mirror the immense longing radiating from the serpent before her. "You have chosen compassion over vengeance," the serpent's voice rumbled softly, vibrating through the stones and water. "Now, you must face the ritual of healing. To break the curse, you must walk through the river of memories, confront the pain of every maiden lost, and offer the truth of your heart." The mist shifted, forming a shimmering corridor that extended into the depths of the waterfall cave. Each step Nia took illuminated visions along the walls of stone and water, girls taken by the curse, their faces frozen in fleeting moments of fear and sorrow, hands reaching out as if calling for help. The river's waters glimmered, reflecting both her own image and theirs, merging past and present in a fluid tapestry of grief. Nia's chest ached. "I see you. I feel your pain," she whispered, voice steady despite the surge of emotion threatening to overwhelm her. "I will not let your suffering continue. The cycle ends now. The serpent coiled beside her, massive yet gentle, his eyes glowing with a mixture of hope and sorrow. To heal, you must confront the essence of the curse itself. Look beyond the surface of my form and into the heart that has been bound by fear, jealousy, and longing for centuries. As Nia reached out her hands, golden light radiated from the runes and flowed through her, connecting with the serpent's coils. The visions intensified, now showing the origin of the curse, the jealous Sky Mother descending upon the guardian spirit, wrathful and commanding, her hands casting a binding spell that twisted his essence and chained him to endless desire. Tears streamed down Nia's face as she felt the depth of centuries-long sorrow. She pressed her hands against the serpent's scales, whispering words of understanding and empathy. You were forced into this, not by choice, but by the cruelty of others. You are not a monster. You are a guardian, and your pain ends today. The golden runes flared brighter, and the river's waters began to glow with shimmering light. The serpent's form shimmered and shifted, his sorrowful eyes reflecting hope for the first time in countless generations. Your heart is pure, Nia of Zecora, he said, voice quivering. If your courage and compassion endure, the curse may finally be undone. The mist thickened and then parted, revealing visions of the maidens once lost, now stepping forward from the shadows of limbo, faces radiant with relief and gratitude. The river sparkled like liquid gold as the energy of the ritual flowed through them, binding past, present, and future in a single, healing current. Nia's heart swelled with hope and determination. She had chosen compassion over vengeance, understanding over fear. The ritual of healing had begun, and with it, the possibility of freedom, for the serpent, for the lost maidens, and for the kingdom of Zecora itself. From the depths of Silver Falls, the serpent's voice echoed, filled with reverent awe, you honor all who have come before, and those who will follow. The ritual continues, and the heart of the curse may yet be mended. Step forward, daughter of Zecora, for the next stage of your trial approaches. Nia took a deep breath, feeling the golden runes' warmth coursing through her, and stepped deeper into the river of memories, ready to confront the final threads of the curse that had bound the serpent for generations. The river of memories shimmered like molten gold as Nia waded deeper into its flowing current. Every ripple carried echoes of the past, whispers of the maidens who had vanished, laughter turned to sorrow, and the faint, lingering cries of those trapped in the limbo of the serpent's curse. Each step Nia took sent tremors through the golden runes beneath her feet, pulsing with an ancient rhythm that seemed to echo the very heartbeat of the world. The colossal serpent coiled beside her, his scales glinting like polished emeralds in the faint light of the waterfall mist. You approach the core of the curse, he rumbled, voice reverberating through the cavern. Here lies the essence of the spell cast by the Sky Mother. To mend it, you must face the sorrow, rage, and longing that bind me. Nia's heart ached as visions surged around her, visions of the guardian spirit, proud and radiant, before the Sky Mother's wrath twisted him into this cursed form. She saw the floodwaters he had restrained, the jealousy of the gods, and the infinite loneliness imposed upon him. Tears blurred her vision, yet she stepped forward with determination. I see your pain, Nia whispered, placing her hands on the serpent's massive coils. I see every loss, every lonely moment. I will not turn away. I will help you, if you allow it. The mist thickened, and from its depths rose a shadowy figure, the essence of the curse itself. It was a swirling vortex of darkness and shimmering light, with countless faces embedded within, each whispering sorrow, fear, and longing. Its voice was 1,000 cries layered into one, none can undo me. You cannot release him. You will fail. Nia steadied her breath, recalling the bond she shared with Mira and Sumi, the lessons of courage and trust, and the empathy that had guided her through every trial. I am not alone, she said firmly. We are united. I will face this with courage, and together, we will mend what has been broken. The shadow of the curse lashed out like a storm, enveloping Nia in darkness. She felt the weight of centuries pressing down, pulling at her mind with despair. But she reached deep into her spirit, calling forth the golden energy of the runes beneath her, the compassion that had guided her, and the unbreakable bond of sisterhood that connected her to Mira and Sumi. The light flared, pushing back the darkness. Faces within the curse began to smile, and the swirling vortex slowed, its chaotic energy calming. The serpent shivered, scales glinting as a soft glow began to emanate from his coils. You feel what I could not," he murmured, awestruck. "You see the sorrow, but you also see hope." Nia pressed forward, voice steady and resolute. "The curse was born of fear, jealousy, and loneliness. I offer understanding, compassion, and courage. Let this end now, for all who have suffered." The golden runes blazed with a blinding light, enveloping Nia, the serpent, and the shadow of the curse. The river of memory surged around them, carrying away the pain and sorrow, transforming it into radiant golden energy. The mist parted, revealing the waterfall in its full glory, glowing with warmth and life once more. The curse quivered, then dissolved like mist under the morning sun. The serpent lowered his massive head, eyes shimmering with relief, joy, and gratitude. It is done," he whispered, voice choked with emotion. "The curse is broken. The maidens, all those lost, are free." Nia sank to her knees, exhausted but triumphant, the weight of centuries lifted from the cavern. The golden runes dimmed to a soft glow, their work complete. Beyond the waterfall, the silver falls sparkled more brilliantly than ever, the river flowing with renewed life, and the air thick with the promise of a new beginning for Zikora and its people. The golden light of the runes faded slowly, leaving Nia kneeling on the slick moss of the riverbank deep within the waterfall cavern. The roar of silver falls thundered around her, louder than ever, but now it carried a different energy, one of life renewed rather than sorrow. She rose to her feet, chest heaving, sweat mingling with the mist, and looked around. The serpent coiled nearby, his massive form no longer a figure of fear, but of quiet reverence and relief. "You have done what none before dared," the serpent said, voice softer now, warm and almost tender. "The curse is lifted. The lost maidens are free. Zikora will no longer suffer from the weight of sacrifice." Nia's ochre eyes scanned the cavern. She felt a strange emptiness as well, a bittersweet ache for the years lost to sorrow, the centuries of suffering she had glimpsed in the visions, and the weight of the trial she had endured. Yet there was hope now, a promise of life restored. Outside the mist, the golden light revealed the silver falls in its full glory. The river sparkled with vitality, its waters clear and singing with the sound of freedom. Trees along the banks glowed with renewed greenery, flowers blooming with colors more vivid than she had ever seen. The villagers of Zikora, waiting at the edge of the forest, gasped in awe at the transformation, whispers of amazement spreading through the crowd. Mira and Sumi emerged from the edges of the forest, faces filled with worry that melted into relief as they spotted Nia. Mira rushed forward, grabbing Nia's hands, her indigo eyes glistening with tears. "Nia, you've done it, you've freed them. The curse, it's gone." Sumi, gentle-hearted in green, approached more quietly, placing a reassuring hand on Nia's shoulder. "You carried the burden of the ritual. You faced the heart of the serpent and survived. We are proud of you, sister." The serpent's massive head lowered, bringing his glistening eyes level with Nia's. "Your heart guided what your hands could not. You have healed what centuries of pain could not. I am no longer bound, thanks to your courage and compassion." Nia's lips curved in a tired but triumphant smile. "We did this together. The bond of sisterhood is stronger than fear, stronger than hatred. And now, Zikora can live free." The villagers stepped forward cautiously, reverent and awestruck. Elders wept openly, children pointed in wonder at the shimmering waterfall, and the air hummed with newfound vitality. Songs of praise and hope began to rise, blending with the natural music of Silver Falls. But even in the celebration, Nia felt a quiet tension linger in her heart. The serpent was free, the curse lifted, yet she knew the ritual had only begun. Trials of wisdom, sacrifice, and spirit still awaited them. There were mysteries of the river yet to uncover, secrets of the Sky Mother's wrath that remained untold, and challenges the sisters had yet to face. Yet in that moment, as the golden light danced across the water and the villagers sang in awe, Nia allowed herself a moment of triumph, a pause to honor the courage, unity, and love that had brought them this far. She clasped Mira and Sumi's hands, hearts united as one, and prepared to face whatever came next with the same unyielding resolve that had carried them through every trial. Beneath the roar of Silver Falls, the kingdom of Zikora breathed a new life, hope intertwined with vigilance, and courage illuminated by the bonds of sisterhood. The journey was far from over, but together, they would endure. The roar of Silver Falls had quieted to a gentle roar, the water sparkling under the golden sunlight that filtered through the mist. Nia, Mira, and Sumi stood at the riverbank, holding hands, their bond strengthened by the trials that had already tested their courage, trust, and compassion. Yet even amidst this victory, the air carried a sharp edge, a chill that made the hairs on the back of Nia's neck rise. A shadow moved across the sky, darker than the mist and thicker than any cloud. The sisters' eyes lifted in unison, and there she appeared, the Sky Mother, radiant yet wrathful, descending with wings of storm clouds and lightning. Her golden eyes blazed like twin suns, and her voice cut across the valley, echoing with centuries of fury. Fools! Mortal daughters, you dare interfere with what I decreed. You unbind what was mine to command. Do you think your fragile hearts can undo the will of the gods? Nia stepped forward, ochre tunic glowing with the reflected sunlight, her hands trembling slightly but her resolve unwavering. We do not interfere, Sky Mother. We do not act out of pride or vengeance. We act for the lives lost, for the future of Zecora, and for the freedom of those trapped by a curse you placed. The Sky Mother's wings unfurled, stirring the mist into a swirling cyclone. Freedom. The serpent's longing is my design. Every maiden lost, every tear shed, it maintains balance, power, and order. You dare disrupt what has kept your rivers flowing and your lands alive. Mira, cautious yet firm, spoke next. Balance maintained through suffering is not true order. We seek harmony, not pain. The river flows again, but the people deserve life free of fear and sacrifice. Sumi, gentle-hearted yet strong in spirit, added softly, we do not deny your power, Sky Mother. But even gods must learn compassion. The curse brought sorrow, not balance. Healing it was the only way to honor life, not defy you. The Sky Mother's golden eyes narrowed, lightning sparking from her wings and striking the waterfall, sending droplets into glittering sparks. Compassion is weakness. Mortals cannot fathom the depth of divine purpose. The serpent stirred beside the sisters, his massive body coiling protectively. Mother of the skies, he rumbled, voice echoing with newfound strength, I am free from the curse you bound upon me. Their hearts were pure, their courage true. The river flows with life and not fear. Judge them not for compassion, but understand it. Even gods may learn from mortals. The Sky Mother paused, her wings folding slightly. The tension between mortal and divine stretched across the valley, a moment suspended in time. The sisters felt the weight of her gaze, a test of humility, courage, and respect. This was no physical trial, it was the judgment of the divine, testing their hearts once more. Nia stepped forward boldly, meeting the Sky Mother's fiery eyes. We honor your power, Sky Mother, but the cost of your designs has been too great. Let the rivers flow, let the people live, and allow compassion to guide what has been wrought in sorrow. For a moment, the wind stilled, the mist hung suspended, and the sunlight seemed to hold its breath. Then the Sky Mother's voice softened, thunder rolling gently in the distance. Mortals, you have shown courage and wisdom beyond your years. You challenge what is divine yet act not out of arrogance, but empathy. The path ahead remains fraught with trials, yet your hearts may yet teach even the gods a lesson long forgotten. The Sky Mother ascended slowly, wings folding, leaving behind a sky now calm and a river that shimmered with golden light. Nia, Mira, and Sumi released each other's hands, hearts pounding, knowing that the challenge was not over, but that they had faced divine wrath with courage, unity, and compassion. The waterfall sparkled more brilliantly than ever, reflecting hope, the promise of life restored, and the knowledge that even mortals could influence the balance of gods with hearts pure and intentions true. The mist around Silver Falls had settled into a soft, shimmering veil, the river now glowing with life restored and hope renewed. Yet the air carried an unfamiliar tension, a subtle vibration that Nia felt deep in her bones. The Sky Mother's gaze lingered invisibly over the valley, a reminder that even her mercy came with a test. We have survived the curse, Nia whispered, her ochre tunic damp from the spray, but her eyes are still upon us. She watches, waiting for us to falter. Mira, cautious and ever observant, scanned the sparkling river. She tests more than courage now. We must prove that our hearts and intentions are true, not just to her, but to ourselves and our people. Sumi nodded, green tunic brushing against the moss. This is a trial of trust. What she asks may not be easy, but we must act with clarity and unity. From the depths of the waterfall cave, a new vision appeared, a glowing bridge of light, suspended above the river, woven with golden threads that shimmered like starlight. Upon the bridge sat 3 vessels, each filled with a different essence, the first, a liquid of molten gold, the second, a swirling silver mist, the third, a deep indigo water that seemed to hum with a voice of its own. The serpent coiled beside the sisters, eyes glimmering with calm reassurance. "The Sky Mother demands a demonstration of trust," he rumbled. "Each vessel represents a choice, not of power, but of intent. Only those who act without fear, greed, or doubt may proceed across the bridge and prove their worth. Step carefully, for hesitation can awaken shadows that dwell within the mind." Nia's heart pounded as she approached the golden bridge. She reached out, hesitating briefly as the first vessel glowed brighter. "What does she require of us?" she whispered to Mira and Sumi. "The essence reflects our hearts," Mira said softly. "The gold is courage, the silver is wisdom, the indigo is empathy. To pass, we must act in harmony with our deepest truth." Sumi stepped forward beside her. "Then we walk together, not for ourselves, but for all who depend on us." The sisters grasped hands, the golden runes beneath their feet resonating with their unity. Nia reached toward the first vessel, molten gold swirling, and lifted it gently. It felt warm, alive, as if recognizing her courage. Mira followed, embracing the silver mist, her touch steady and deliberate, wisdom flowing through her fingertips. Sumi chose the indigo water, and it pulsed with empathy, responding to her gentle heart. As they carried the essences, the bridge of light began to shift and ripple, testing their balance and resolve. Shadows formed beneath their feet, whispering doubts and fears, images of failure and loss, trying to make them falter. Nia's grip on her sisters tightened, her resolve steadying against the assault. "Do not fear the shadows," the serpent's voice echoed, calm and grounding. "They are born of doubt, not reality. Trust your hearts, and the bridge will guide you." With each step, the sisters moved as one, their unity shining brighter than the shadows. The river below glimmered like liquid gold and silver, reflecting their courage, wisdom, and empathy. As they neared the center of the bridge, a brilliant light erupted from the vessels, merging into a radiant column that pierced the mist and reached the sky. The Sky Mother's voice reverberated gently, no longer wrathful, but curious. "You have walked with trust, hearts aligned. You honor the power of unity and compassion. You pass this trial, but remember, more challenges await, for the path of mortals who confront the divine is never without consequence." The sisters exhaled, relief washing over them, yet the weight of responsibility remained. They had passed the test of divine trust, proving their hearts were true, but they now understood that Sakura's destiny, the serpent's freedom, and the legacy of their sisterhood depended on their courage in the trials yet to come. The golden light of the bridge faded, leaving Nia, Mira, and Sumi standing at the edge of a cavern deep behind Silver Falls. The air was heavy with mist, carrying the faint scent of moss, river, and something older, something that whispered of memories long buried. Though the test of divine trust had been passed, the sisters felt an unsettling tremor in their hearts. "Do you feel that?" Mira whispered, her indigo tunic brushing against the wet stone. "It's as if the cave itself remembers us." Sumi placed a hand on her sister's shoulder, gentle yet firm. "It is not just the cave. These shadows are the echoes of the past. The Sky Mother's trials do not end with courage and unity. Now we must face what we have carried inside us." Before them, the cavern walls shimmered and shifted, forming mirrored images of their earliest memories. Each reflection seemed alive, stepping from the stone to confront them. Nia saw herself as a child, fierce yet unsure, gripping a small dagger her father had gifted her for protection. Mira watched the moment she first doubted her own courage, frozen in fear as the villagers whispered of sacrifice. Sumi faced a memory of her gentleness being dismissed, her compassion mistaken for weakness. A cold wind swept through the cavern, carrying whispers that twisted their memories into shadows. "You are not enough," hissed a voice from the darkness. "You will fail. You cannot save anyone." Nia's ochre eyes narrowed, her hand brushing against the hidden blade at her waist. "These are just echoes," she muttered, voice steady. "They are not who we are now. We have faced trials, and we have survived. We will not be fooled by fear." The shadows lunged, forming humanoid shapes that mirrored the sisters' doubts and insecurities. Myra's silver-tinted eyes reflected her reflection's mockery, trying to unsettle her balance. Sumi's indigo water pendant glowed faintly, offering warmth and grounding, reminding her of the empathy she carried as a shield. The serpent coiled behind them, massive yet protective, scales shimmering with light from the waterfall. "Shadows of the past are strong," he said, voice low and resonant. "They test not only skill, but heart and mind. Do not let them break your unity. Only together can you move forward." Nia took a deep breath and stepped forward, facing the shadow of her younger self. "I am more than fear. I am courage. I am strength." Her words echoed through the cavern, causing the shadow to waver and fade into golden mist. Mira followed, confronting her past doubts. "I am wisdom, and I trust my choices. I will guide, not hesitate." The shadow dissolved into silver light, leaving her standing taller, shoulders squared. Sumi stepped last, facing the shadow of her dismissed compassion. "I am empathy, and my heart is strong. I will care, not falter." The indigo shadow melted into radiant water, flowing into the river below the cavern, leaving her glowing with quiet strength. As the last shadow vanished, the cavern walls brightened, revealing inscriptions in ancient script that pulsed with life. They spoke of courage, unity, and the power of the heart. The sisters read aloud together, voices strong and harmonized. "Through shadows faced, hearts aligned, the path of truth is revealed. Only those who embrace courage, wisdom, and empathy may continue the journey of light." The river at the cavern's center shimmered, guiding the sisters to a narrow passage that glowed with ethereal light. Nia, Mira, and Sumi exchanged determined glances. Their hearts had been tested, their fears confronted, and their unity reaffirmed. Beyond the passage lay the next stage of their journey, deeper into the mysteries of Silver Falls and the lingering presence of divine power. For the first time, the sisters understood that to heal Zecora, to protect the serpent, and to secure their legacy, they would have to face not only external forces, but the echoes of their own past, and emerge stronger together. The narrow passage ahead glowed with a soft, ethereal light, the walls shimmering with ancient inscriptions that seemed to pulse like the heartbeat of the river itself. Nia led the way, her ochre tunic catching the golden glow. Mira followed closely, cautious and deliberate, and Sumi brought up the rear, green attire blending with the faint luminescence. The air was thick with mist, carrying whispers that seemed to rise from the river beneath them. Each whisper was a fragment of memory, of those who had walked these halls before, those who had failed, and those who had vanished into legend. The sisters pressed forward, hands brushing against the slick, glowing stone, letting the inscriptions guide their steps. "This passage, it speaks," Mira whispered, tracing a glowing symbol with her fingertip. "Each mark is a story, a warning, or a lesson. We must heed them carefully." The serpent followed silently, its massive form coiled protectively behind them. Its eyes, dark pools reflecting the glow of the inscriptions, watched for danger, yet the air carried a strange tension, one that suggested unseen eyes and unseen tests. Suddenly, the ground beneath their feet shivered. A soft tremor ran through the passage, and shadows rose from the walls, twisting into shapes of animals and figures from the folklore of Zecora. Lions with eyes of molten gold prowled silently, hawks with wings of silver circled above, figures of past warriors emerged, weapons gleaming, their faces determined yet sorrowful. "They are echoes of the past," Nia said, voice steady despite her racing heart. "They will test our resolve, our intentions. We must not falter." The lion echoes leaped forward, and the sisters instinctively drew their charms and pendants. Iron and flame glimmered as they prepared to defend themselves, but the figures did not attack. Instead, they circled, observing, testing the sisters' courage and composure. Every step forward required careful attention, each movement an acknowledgement of respect for the echo's power. A spectral voice filled the passage. "Only those who walk without malice, without greed, and without doubt may reach the heart of the river. Courage, wisdom, and empathy must guide you. Fail, and you will be lost to the mists forever." Sumi stepped forward, gently laying her hand on the closest lion echo. "We mean no harm," she said softly. "We walk with purpose to heal, not destroy. We honor your strength and your memory." The lion lowered its head, golden eyes gleaming with approval, then faded into the mist. One by one, the echoes of warriors, hawks, and ancient figures followed, allowing the sisters passage. As they reached the center of the passage, a pool of glowing water appeared, suspended in midair like liquid light. The serpent lowered its head, observing. "This is the heart of the river," it murmured. "The next trial is not of strength, but of heart. You must immerse yourselves fully, revealing your true intentions. Only those whose hearts are pure may pass." Nia glanced at Mira and Sumi, determination burning in her ochre eyes. "We have faced shadows, curses, and divine wrath. We are ready." Together, the sisters stepped into the glowing pool, the water enveloping them in warmth and light. It surged with visions, echoes of every choice, every act of courage, every moment of empathy they had shown. Their hearts were laid bare, not in judgment, but as a mirror to test the authenticity of their intentions. The light pulsed, surrounding them in a cocoon of warmth and understanding. The passage walls seemed to dissolve, revealing a tunnel of pure, golden flow leading deeper into Silver Falls, promising the next stage of the journey, where the trials of spirit, heart, and destiny awaited. The golden tunnel of light led Nia, Mira, and Sumi to a vast cavern where the air shimmered like liquid sunlight. The water from the waterfall flowed into a crystalline pool, suspended as if untouched by gravity, and tiny orbs of luminescence danced above its surface like fireflies. The sisters paused, sensing the presence of a powerful spirit, ancient, wise, and watchful. From the center of the pool, a figure emerged, a towering entity of water, translucent yet shimmering with emerald, sapphire, and gold. Its eyes glowed with the depth of the river itself, reflecting centuries of life, loss, and magic. The river spirit spoke, voice rippling like the flow of water. "Three sisters of Zecora, you have freed the serpent, faced divine scrutiny, and walked the passage of echoes. Yet the river's heart tests not only courage, but clarity, compassion, and truth. You seek to protect life and heal what was cursed. To prove your worth, you must face your deepest fears here, within the flow of your own hearts." Nia's grip tightened on her hidden blade, ochre tunic glistening in the water light. "We are ready," she said firmly. Mira and Sumi nodded, determination and trust in their eyes. The river spirit extended tendrils of flowing water, encircling the sisters. Suddenly, each sister was lifted into her own vision. Nia saw herself surrounded by the faces of every maiden lost to the serpent's curse, their expressions pleading for rescue. The weight of responsibility pressed on her chest, the fear of failure threatening to overwhelm her. "Courage is not the absence of fear," the spirit's voice echoed, "but the choice to act despite it. Face your fear, and you may move forward." Nia breathed deeply, imagining the lost maidens' faces not as a burden, but as guides. Her blade transformed in her hands into a radiant torch of golden light, symbolizing her courage. She stepped forward, reaching through the vision, and the spectral maiden smiled, fading into the river's luminescence. Myra's vision showed her the villagers of Zecora, arguing and cursing their choices, some calling for vengeance, others for mercy. Doubt clouded her mind, questioning whether their mission was right. "Wisdom is not certainty," the spirit whispered. "It is understanding and balance. Choose wisely." Mira closed her eyes, grounding herself in the lessons of the past trials. She extended her hands, silver light emanating from her pendant, weaving clarity through the vision. The villagers' expressions softened, their anger dissolving into trust. Sumi faced her vision last. She stood before a mirror of herself, surrounded by shadows of doubt and ridicule from her youth. Her gentle heart had often been dismissed, her empathy seen as weakness. The spirit's voice echoed, "True strength lies in the heart. Compassion is the anchor of the soul." Sumi reached out to the shadows, embracing them with warmth. They melted into streams of indigo light that merged with the river, leaving her smiling with quiet confidence. The river spirit withdrew, its form shimmering and condensing into a single column of light. "You have faced courage, clarity, and compassion. The river flows in harmony once more. You are worthy to continue your journey and face the remaining trials." But know this, the path grows darker before the dawn, and the choices you make will shape not only your destiny, but that of Zecora itself. The sisters emerged from the visions, hearts pounding, yet stronger and more united than ever. The crystalline pool glimmered before them, reflecting the river's renewed life and the power of their trials. The serpent coiled nearby, massive eyes filled with pride and trust. "You have passed the trial of the river spirit," he rumbled. "But remember, the path ahead may demand sacrifices greater than those already faced. Trust each other, for together you are stronger than any curse or divine challenge." Nia, Mira, and Sumi stepped forward together, hands clasped, ready to face the mysteries and trials that awaited deeper within Silver Falls. The sisters had just emerged from the trial of the river spirit, their hearts still glowing with the warmth of triumph and unity. Yet as they stepped onto the next ledge of Silver Falls, the air shifted. A cold wind swept through the cavern, carrying a scent of ozone and storm. The golden light of the river dimmed, shadows stretching unnaturally along the mossy walls. "This is no ordinary trial," Mira murmured, indigo eyes scanning the shifting darkness. "The Sky Mother's presence lingers here. Her anger, or her test, has not ended." Suddenly, the cavern trembled. From above, a storm of shadowy tendrils descended, coiling and twisting, each one reflecting the fears and doubts that had plagued the sisters throughout their journey. The tendrils whispered in voices both familiar and alien. "Failure, weakness, betrayal, your courage is meaningless." Nia raised her blade, iron and flame flickering in the dim light. "We faced curses, spirits, and shadows before. We will not falter now." Her voice echoed with unyielding resolve. The serpent rose beside them, massive coils blocking the tendrils. "These are the lingering shadows of the Sky Mother's wrath," he rumbled. "They are born from divine jealousy and fear. She seeks to test the purity of your hearts through torment. Stand together, do not let doubt divide you." The tendrils struck, wrapping around the sisters' limbs and attempting to pull them into the shadowed voids that appeared beneath their feet. Nia's courage flared, she swung her blade, slicing through the darkness, each stroke illuminating the cavern with sparks of gold. Mira chanted under her breath, silver light radiating from her pendant, weaving shields of clarity around them. Every tendril that touched her shimmered and dissolved, leaving only light in its place. Sumi's green tunic glowed as she stepped forward, hands raised. Her empathy pulsed outward, calming the shadowed tendrils that approached. They hesitated, hissing softly, and retreated, merging into the dim cavern walls. But the shadows were cunning. They morphed into illusions of the sisters' deepest fears, Nia's blade shattering mid-strike, Myra's wisdom failing to save the villagers, Sumi's compassion rejected and mocked by those she sought to protect. The sisters faltered, hearts pounding, but the serpent's voice anchored them. "Fear is a shadow of the mind," he said. "Not reality. You have faced far greater trials. Trust in each other, and trust in yourselves." Together, Nia, Mira, and Sumi joined hands, channeling their combined strength. Light erupted from their charms, pendants, and blades, weaving into a cocoon of gold, silver, and green. The shadows screamed, twisting violently before finally dissolving into mist. Above, a crack appeared in the cavern ceiling. Sunlight pierced through, illuminating the path ahead and revealing a narrow ledge leading deeper into the heart of Silver Falls. The storm of the Sky Mother had receded, though a faint shimmer of her presence lingered, a silent warning that further trials awaited. The sisters breathed in unison, hearts steady despite the lingering tension. "The Sky Mother tests us still," Nia said, ochre tunic glowing with determination. "But together, nothing can break our bond." Mira nodded. "Her wrath may follow, but our unity, courage, and wisdom have proven stronger." Sumi smiled, green eyes shining. "And the river, the serpent, and our people, all depend on that strength. We move forward, together." The serpent coiled gracefully, guiding them along the sunlit ledge. The path narrowed, but it pulsed with promise, a promise of challenges to come, of sacrifices yet to be faced, and of the enduring power of sisterhood against the shadows of divine wrath. The path along Silver Falls grew narrower, winding through towering cliffs veiled in mist. Sunlight danced across the cascading waters, casting rainbows that glimmered on mossy stones. The sisters moved carefully, aware that each step deeper into the falls brought them closer to both danger and revelation. Nia led with her usual determination, ochre tunic damp from the waterfall spray, eyes scanning the surroundings for any sign of threat. Mira followed closely, pendant glowing faintly, sensing currents of magic in the air. Sumi brought up the rear, her green tunic brushing against glowing ferns that seemed to lean toward her as if recognizing her gentle heart. Suddenly, the waters ahead churned violently. From the swirling river, 3 guardians emerged, massive creatures of stone and water, their forms resembling lions, crocodiles, and eagles, yet with ethereal qualities, bodies half solid, half liquid, shimmering with pulses of light. Their eyes glowed like molten gold, silver, and deep sapphire. The heart of Silver Falls is protected, the serpent rumbled from behind, its massive coils shifting gracefully. Only those who are truly united in courage, wisdom, and empathy may pass. The guardians will test every part of your being, strength, heart, and spirit. The first guardian, a lion with a mane of flowing water, crouched and roared. Nia stepped forward, her blade glowing with golden fire, yet she remembered the serpent's lessons. This trial was not just of force, but of understanding. She lowered her weapon, meeting the lion's gaze. "We do not seek to destroy you," she whispered. "We honor your role and approach with respect." The lion's roar softened, and it leapt aside, allowing the sisters to pass. Next, the crocodile guardian lunged, snapping jaws with lightning speed. Mira quickly assessed its movements, reading the currents of water around it. Using her pendant silver light, she created a path, guiding her sisters safely past the guardian's snapping jaws. Each movement required precision, patience, and trust in her sisters' coordination. Finally, the eagle guardian swooped down, wings spanning the cavern, talons reaching. Sumi held out her hands, channeling empathy through her pendant. The eagle slowed, circling them, recognizing their hearts. Its piercing eyes met hers, and a silent understanding passed between them. Their compassion and unity were genuine. The guardian lifted, wings beating rhythmically, revealing the final path deeper into the falls. The 3 sisters regrouped, breathing heavily but unbroken. The serpent coiled beside them, eyes gleaming with pride. "You have proven yourselves worthy of reaching the heart," he said. "But remember, each step forward may demand more than courage or skill. Choices will test your hearts, and sacrifices may be required." Ahead, the cavern opened into a vast chamber where the water glowed with an inner light, revealing a swirling pool of silver and emerald. Ancient inscriptions lined the walls, pulsing with rhythm like a heartbeat. This was the heart of Silver Falls, the center of the river's magic, where the next stage of trials awaited. Nia, Mira, and Sumi exchanged determined glances. Each knew that beyond this chamber lay challenges that would test not only their strength but their very essence. The guardians had recognized their courage, wisdom, and empathy, but would these qualities be enough to face what awaited in the heart of the river? Together, they stepped toward the glowing pool, ready to confront the mysteries, magic, and moral trials that would decide the fate of Silver Falls, the Serpent, and all of Zecora. The glowing pool at the heart of Silver Falls pulsed softly, casting shifting patterns of emerald and silver light across the cavern walls. The air was thick with the scent of wet stone, moss, and an underlying power older than memory. As the sisters stepped closer, the water's surface rippled, revealing visions within, scenes of the villagers, past brides, and the serpent itself. "This is unlike anything we've faced before," Mira murmured, her silver-tinted eyes reflecting the moving images. "The river is showing us possibilities. Choices." The serpent coiled beside them, massive head lowered, watching intently. "The river judges not by strength, but by the intentions behind your actions," he said. "Here, you will face decisions that test your hearts. Choose wrongly, and lives, including your own, may be lost. Choose wisely, and you may heal what has long been broken." Suddenly, the water surged, forming 3 distinct images before each sister. Nia saw the faces of all the maidens who had been taken by the curse. A voice whispered, "Strike now, kill me, and end this cycle forever. But the river will run dry, and the land will suffer." Myra's vision showed the villagers, divided and fearful. A spectral figure of the Sky Mother appeared, her expression stern. "Seek the forbidden right. Heal the curse, but one sister must remain by the serpent's side for eternity. Sacrifice is required to bring life. Sumi's vision was of the serpent, eyes filled with sorrow and longing. I have suffered for centuries, longing for companionship. Do not destroy me, or all hope is lost. The sisters faltered, each vision tugging at a different part of their hearts. Nia's hand gripped her blade tightly, fiery determination burning in her eyes. I cannot let this beast continue to take our people. The cycle must end. Mira shook her head, cautious and thoughtful. But if we destroy him, the rivers will die. The land will starve. There must be another way, a way to heal without more bloodshed. Sumi stepped forward, green tunic glowing softly. And if one of us stays to help him, to guide him and break the curse, perhaps all can be saved. But it will require courage, and the strength of heart beyond anything we have known. The water before them rippled violently, reflecting their choices as if the river itself sought to measure their intentions. Decide, the river whispered, voice both gentle and commanding. Your choice will echo across generations. Do you destroy, heal, or sacrifice? Nia, Mira, and Sumi joined hands, forming a triangle of unity. Each could feel the pull of the different paths, the weight of responsibility pressing on their shoulders. The serpent, eyes glistening like midnight pools, lowered his massive head, allowing them the freedom to choose, but leaving the consequence entirely in their hands. For a long moment, silence reigned. Only the pulse of the river, the glow of the pool, and the distant roar of silver falls filled the cavern. The moral trial had begun, and its outcome would decide not just the fate of the serpent, but the survival of Zecora and the legacy of the three warrior sisters. The glowing waters of the heart of Silver Falls shimmered like liquid jewels, reflecting the three sisters' anxious faces. Nia, Mira, and Sumi stood hand in hand, the weight of destiny pressing upon them. The cavern was silent, save for the soft roar of Silver Falls beyond the chamber. The river's pull seemed to echo the urgency of the moment, as if time itself held its breath. Nia's ochre eyes burned with resolve. We cannot let this continue, she said, voice trembling with both anger and fear. Generations have suffered. Innocent lives stolen, all to feed a curse. I say we strike the serpent down. Mira shook her head, indigo tunic glowing faintly. But if we do, the rivers will dry. The land will starve. The villagers will suffer far more than the serpent ever could. There must be another way, a path that heals rather than destroys. Sumi's green eyes shimmered with compassion. Perhaps the answer lies not in destruction, nor in fear, but in love and sacrifice. The serpent suffers because he is cursed, not because he is cruel. One of us may need to stay with him, to help guide him and break the curse. It may demand everything, but it could save both the river and our people. The serpent, coiled behind them, lowered his massive head, watching intently. His eyes glistened with sorrow and longing. The river will honor the choice you make, he rumbled, voice low and deep. But understand, every path carries consequence. Courage, wisdom, and compassion will guide you, if your hearts are true. Nia clenched her fists, tension rippling across her face. Her desire for vengeance warred with the knowledge that destruction might doom the land. Mira's thoughts raced, weighing logic and empathy, fear and duty. Sumi's heart ached with the potential cost. One of them might never leave the river alive. The water of the heart rippled, forming visions of each potential path. In one, the serpent fell, the river ran dry, and the villagers wept as crops withered and fish vanished. In another, the forbidden rite succeeded, the curse lifted, and one sister remained with the serpent, watching over him while the rivers flowed abundantly. In the third, indecision allowed the curse to persist, and the cycle of suffering continued indefinitely. Time seemed to stretch. The roar of the waterfall grew louder, reverberating through the cavern, as if urging them to decide. Nia's hand trembled over her blade, Mira's fingers traced the silver pendant at her chest, and Sumi's heart pounded with the weight of love and duty. Finally, Nia spoke, her voice steady but heavy with emotion. We cannot let fear dictate our choice. We must act with courage, but also with compassion. If one of us is to stay, it will be me. I will bear the sacrifice, so that Zecora may live, and the river may flow freely again. Mira and Sumi gasped, horror and awe in their eyes. Nia, Sumi whispered, tears shimmering. Are you certain? Nia nodded. It is the only way to ensure life, hope, and the bonds we have forged. I will not fail you, or the people of Zecora. The serpent lowered his massive head, eyes glinting with gratitude and sorrow. Then it is done, he said. The river acknowledges your courage and your heart. The trial is complete, and the curse shall be broken, though the sacrifice will not be forgotten. The water swirled violently, then calmed, glowing brighter than ever. Light enveloped Nia, the river, and the serpent, signaling the beginning of the forbidden rite that would lift the curse and bind Nia's fate to the heart of Silver Falls forever. Mira and Sumi held hands, hearts heavy with both grief and hope, as Nia stepped forward into the luminous pool, ready to embrace the sacrifice that would save their people, heal the serpent, and restore life to the rivers of Zecora. The heart of Silver Falls pulsed with a rhythm that echoed like the heartbeat of the entire kingdom of Zecora. The luminous pool shimmered with emerald and silver light, reflecting the cavern walls etched with ancient symbols that had guided generations of river guardians. Nia stood at the edge of the pool, her ochre tunic clinging to her as droplets from the waterfall danced around her. Her sisters, Mira and Sumi, held her hands firmly, their eyes shining with both sorrow and unwavering support. The serpent coiled beside her, colossal form rippling with anticipation and fear. His dark eyes softened as he gazed upon Nia, recognizing the magnitude of the choice she had made. The river honors your courage, Nia of Zecora, he rumbled. To break the curse, you must offer not only your presence but your essence, your strength, your spirit, your heart. Are you ready to surrender? Nia inhaled deeply, feeling the pull of the river's energy around her. I am ready, she said firmly, though her chest tightened with the weight of the sacrifice. Mira squeezed her hand, whispering, we are with you, always. Sumi nodded, green eyes brimming with tears, murmuring, your heart carries all our hopes, Nia. Be strong. As Nia stepped into the luminous water, the serpent lowered his massive head, allowing her to approach. The water rippled and shimmered, rising to form a bridge of liquid light between Nia and the serpent. The ancient symbols on the cavern walls glowed brighter, pulsating in time with the river's heartbeat. The serpent spoke again, voice low and resonant. Focus on the curse. See it for what it is, not just suffering, but longing, loneliness, and endless desire. Bind it with your will, and let the river carry it away. Nia closed her eyes. The visions of every maiden lost to the curse appeared before her, floating like lanterns in the water. Faces of grief, hope, and sorrow mingled together. Nia reached out with her spirit, feeling their essence, acknowledging their pain, and offering solace. Her heart pulsed, resonating with courage, empathy, and love. The river responded. Water spiraled around the serpent, glowing brighter, forming a cocoon of energy that wrapped both him and Nia. She felt the curse as a heavy weight pressing into her chest, a twisting sorrow that threatened to crush her resolve. But she breathed deeply, channeling her strength in the bond of sisterhood. I am here. I will not fail. The river will flow again. The serpent's voice, layered with relief and awe, echoed through the cavern. Your heart, your spirit, it is pure. The curse can be lifted. The river surged, sending streams of light through the cavern. Nia felt herself becoming one with the water, the serpent, and the magic of Silver Falls. She felt the centuries of pain dissolve, the stolen maiden spirits freed, and the river flowing with renewed life. A blinding flash enveloped the chamber, and when it cleared, the serpent shimmered with a new radiance, majestic, calm, and free of sorrow. The waters of the heart glowed with vibrant energy, spreading through the cavern and beyond, filling the river with renewed vitality. Nia stepped back onto the riverbank, drenched but smiling faintly. Though the rite had changed her, binding her to the river and the serpent in a sacred connection, she felt the warmth of life restored around her. Mira and Sumi rushed forward, embracing her tightly. The curse is broken, the serpent said, voice filled with gratitude and a new lightness. The river will flow, the land will thrive, and the maidens will be safe. Your sacrifice, Nia, will be remembered for generations. Nia nodded, feeling the bond between them all, serpent, river, and sisters, strengthened beyond words. The trials of Silver Falls were far from over, but the first great victory had been won. Together, they had faced fear, sorrow, an impossible choice, and emerged stronger, united, and full of hope. The heart of Silver Falls had settled into a tranquil glow after the completion of the forbidden rite. The river now pulsed with renewed energy, flowing freely through the cavern, casting ribbons of silver and emerald light on the walls. Yet, the sisters knew their journey was far from over. Deeper within the falls, whispers of the ancient spirits beckoned, promising further trials, and perhaps greater wisdom. "Do you feel that?" Mira asked, her indigo tunic shimmering in the luminous glow. "The river is alive in a way I've never felt before." Sumi nodded, green eyes wide with wonder. "It's as if the very spirit of Silver Falls is awake. I think the guardians we passed were only the first of many tests." The serpent coiled beside them, his massive body moving with grace despite his renewed form. "You have lifted the curse, and the river honors you. Yet there are spirits older than even my memory, keepers of knowledge and power. They test those who enter the depths, ensuring that the river's legacy remains sacred." The sisters stepped forward cautiously, entering a narrower passage where water ran in crystal-clear channels over smooth stones. Faint lights shimmered in the shadows, moving as if alive. Whispering voices rose and fell around them, speaking in a language older than any they had learned. Suddenly, 3 spectral figures emerged from the mist. Their forms were humanoid but fluid, composed of flowing water, shimmering light, and drifting leaves. Each carried an emblem representing a virtue, courage, wisdom, and compassion. "You who have freed the river and faced its trials," one spirit said, voice like a melody echoing through the cavern, "know this, the power of the river lies not in strength alone, but in the harmony of heart, mind, and soul. You may have conquered the curse, but to claim true mastery, you must face the trials of the spirits themselves." The sisters exchanged glances, each feeling a mixture of awe and apprehension. Nia's ochre eyes burned with determination. "We are ready. We have faced fear, sorrow, an impossible choice. Whatever test you set before us, we will endure it together." The spirit of courage stepped forward first, forming a shimmering pathway above the water. "To pass, you must confront your deepest fears. The river will show you visions that may test your resolve, your loyalty, and your will. Only those who do not waver can proceed." Immediately, the waters around them rippled, forming images from each sister's past. Nia saw battles she had fought and comrades she had failed. Mira saw mistakes born of doubt and hesitation. Sumi saw moments when compassion had nearly led to disaster. Each vision whispered temptations, fear, anger, regret, trying to pull them apart. But the sisters clasped hands tightly. "We face this together," Nia said, her voice steady. "Our past mistakes do not define us. We act with courage, wisdom, and compassion." The spirits of the river shimmered approvingly. "You have embraced the first virtue, courage. Only by confronting fear without yielding can one truly master the river's heart." The second spirit, representing wisdom, extended its hand, and the cavern walls began to shift. Paths appeared, twisting and diverging, each promising knowledge but hiding danger. The sisters realized that they would need to choose correctly at every turn, for a single wrong step could lead to entrapment in illusions or perilous currents. The trial had only begun. Deeper mysteries of Silver Falls awaited, promising revelations about the origins of the Serpent, the Sky Mother, and the sacred river itself. The sisters' journey was far from over, but together, united, they were ready to face whatever lay ahead. The cavern's light shifted, emerald and silver weaving intricate patterns across the walls. The spirit of wisdom, radiant and fluid, hovered before the sisters, its form shimmering like a flowing river. To master the river's heart, it spoke, you must see through illusions, uncover hidden truths, and choose paths guided by knowledge, not impulse. One misstep will trap you in endless currents of confusion. The floor of the cavern rippled like liquid glass, forming a network of paths stretching in countless directions. Each path shimmered differently, some bathed in golden light, others shadowed in darkness. Between the paths floated floating glyphs of long-forgotten wisdom, glowing softly, waiting to be interpreted. Mira, indigo-clad, stepped forward, studying the glyphs. "Each symbol, it represents a choice," she murmured. The river is testing our discernment, our ability to see truth hidden beneath appearances. Nia, ochre, scan the paths. We cannot act without understanding. One false step could undo everything we've worked for. Sumi, green, reached out with her pendant. It pulsed softly, resonating with the river's magic. We must trust both the river and each other. Our unity will guide us through this. As they moved, the illusions intensified. The paths twisted, showing alternate realities. Nia saw herself choosing vengeance over compassion, the rivers drying and the villagers weeping. Mira witnessed indecision leading to endless cycles of suffering. Sumi glimpsed herself losing her sisters to the river's hidden dangers. The spirit of wisdom's voice echoed, knowledge alone is not enough. Understanding requires reflection, discernment, and trust. See past the illusions. Learn the truth that lies beneath. Mira guided them through the shifting paths, interpreting the glowing glyphs. The river is showing cause and effect, she said. Each choice leads to consequence. Observe, then act, not out of fear, but from clarity. Nia and Sumi nodded, following her carefully. As they progressed, the illusions tried to separate them, whispering doubts and fears. Nia, do you think your sisters truly believe in you? One shadow hissed. Mira, are you strong enough to lead? Sumi, can you endure the pain to protect them? But the sisters remained united, holding hands and repeating their shared intention, courage, wisdom, compassion. Slowly, the illusions began to dissolve, the paths straightening into a clear bridge of glowing silver light that led deeper into the cavern. The spirit of wisdom watched, eyes gleaming like starlight. You have seen past the illusions and embraced discernment. The river honors your clarity. Knowledge has been tested, and you have chosen rightly. Only the final virtue remains, compassion, the heart that binds all. The cavern ahead shimmered, revealing a chamber filled with radiant water lilies and golden light, the final trial awaiting. Here, the sisters would face not fear or choice, but the test of empathy, the ability to see beyond self and act for the greater good, even when the cost is personal. The serpent, coiled behind them, lowered his massive head in silent approval. You have passed the trial of wisdom, he rumbled. Now, the true strength of your hearts will be tested. Compassion is the final key to the river's legacy. Hand in hand, the sisters stepped forward, ready to embrace the trial that would decide not only their fates but the future of Silver Falls and all of Zecora. The chamber ahead glimmered with golden light, water lilies floating gently on the surface of a shallow, crystal-clear pool. A delicate mist hung in the air, shimmering with the soft glow of ancient magic. The spirit of compassion appeared before the sisters, its form fluid and radiant, colors shifting like sunlight on moving water. To master the river's heart, it said, voice like a gentle stream, you must act beyond fear, wisdom, or desire. Compassion demands sacrifice, empathy, and courage to bear the pain of others as your own. Only by embracing the needs of all can you complete the trials and protect Zecora. Sumi stepped forward instinctively, her heart resonating with the spirit's words. We must see beyond ourselves, beyond even our fear, she whispered. This trial will demand more than courage or knowledge. The water shimmered and shifted, forming visions of past maidens who had been taken by the serpent's curse. Each floated trapped within silver bubbles, silent and sorrowful. The river seemed to whisper, free them. Heal them. Or they remain lost forever. Nia's ochre eyes hardened with determination. We will free them, she said. Even if it costs us dearly. Myra's indigo gaze softened. But how? They are trapped in the curse. We've already lifted the serpent's burden, these are the remnants, echoes of what has been lost. Sumi knelt beside the pool, letting her green-tinted pendant glow. Compassion isn't just about saving those we can. It's about understanding their pain and giving them hope. The river is showing us that the final act requires empathy as much as courage. The visions shifted, revealing each sister confronted with a choice. Nia could release her own spirit temporarily to enter the bubble of a maiden, sharing her strength and freeing her. Mira could guide the trapped souls through the river's currents, but risk being lost herself in the labyrinth of illusions. Sumi could absorb the sorrow, anchoring the lost maidens to the river, but her heart would feel their pain endlessly. The three sisters exchanged glances, understanding the enormity of what was required. Their unity, forged through trials of courage and wisdom, now faced the ultimate test. They joined hands, stepping into the pool together, letting the river's energy bind them. Light surged around them, and for a moment, each felt the lives, fears, and hopes of the trapped maidens flowing into their hearts. Pain, sorrow, and longing threatened to overwhelm them, but together, their compassion amplified, creating a radiant force that shattered the silver bubbles and freed the trapped souls. The river shimmered with joy, luminous currents spreading through the chamber, cascading over the sisters and Serpent alike. The freed maidens' voices echoed in gratitude, blending with the roar of silver falls beyond. The spirit of compassion smiled, radiant and satisfied. "You have embraced empathy and selflessness," it said. "Through your hearts, the river, the serpent, and your people are healed. Your trials are complete, but remember, compassion is not a single act. It is a life lived in service to others, and the river's legacy now flows through you." The serpent coiled gently beside them, his dark eyes filled with gratitude and warmth. "You have shown the true strength of Zikora," he rumbled. "Through courage, wisdom, and compassion, you have restored balance, freed the lost, and protected the river for generations to come." The sisters emerged from the pool, drenched but radiant, their bonds stronger than ever. Together, they had faced fear, moral choice, and the weight of empathy. They had healed the river, the serpent, and themselves, proving that true power lies not in force, but in the heart. The river glistened brighter than ever, its waters sparkling with renewed life as the sisters emerged from the heart of Silver Falls. Silver Falls itself roared with a force that seemed both ancient and alive, cascading down in ribbons of emerald and silver that reflected the golden light of the afternoon sun. The air was crisp and fragrant with the scent of wet moss and blooming ferns, a testament to the restored vitality of the river. Nia, ochre tunic clinging to her frame, led the way, her heart still resonating with the echoes of the forbidden rite and the trials of courage, wisdom, and compassion. Mira, cautious and reflective, moved beside her, indigo tunic shimmering in the sunlight. Sumi, ever gentle-hearted, walked with quiet awe, green eyes sparkling with hope. The serpent coiled nearby, his massive form now regal and calm, gliding alongside them. Though immense, he carried an aura of serenity, the sorrow that had defined him for centuries finally lifted. His voice, deep and resonant, broke the silence. "The river flows freely once more. Your courage and compassion have not only healed me but restored balance to Zikora. Yet the people must witness this renewal, for trust and understanding must also be restored." The sisters nodded, understanding their next task. Together, they followed the river downstream, stepping onto moss-covered stones and through patches of wildflowers. As they approached the first villages along the riverbank, word of their deeds had already spread. Villagers gathered in awe and anticipation, their faces a mixture of relief, wonder, and lingering fear. Nia raised a hand, calling for silence. "People of Zikora," she said, voice strong and clear, "the curse has ended. The serpent, once feared as a tyrant, is no longer bound by sorrow. He is no longer a threat, and the river flows freely once again. It is time for us to understand the river, the serpent, and the responsibility we all share in protecting this land." Mira stepped forward, her thoughtful eyes scanning the crowd. "We were given trials, trials of courage, wisdom, and compassion. These were not for us alone, but for all of Zikora. The river, the serpent, and the land are one. If we honor them, they will continue to sustain our lives." Sumi, voice gentle but firm, added, "Fear has guided us too long. It is time for understanding. The serpent is not our enemy. He has suffered as we have, and together, we can coexist and protect this kingdom for generations." The villagers murmured among themselves, some hesitant, some filled with awe. Slowly, they stepped forward, offering gestures of trust, bows, gifts of food, and hand-carved offerings symbolizing unity with the river and serpent. Children ran to touch the water, laughing as fish leapt freely in the restored currents. Elders whispered prayers of gratitude, their voices carrying through the valley. The serpent, sensing the shift in hearts, lowered his massive head to meet the people's gaze. He exhaled a gentle, misty breath, the water shimmering around him as a soft, magical light spread through the riverbank. Fear melted into reverence, and the villagers realized that the creature they had once feared was now a guardian and friend. Nia, Mira, and Sumi exchanged glances, hearts swelling with relief and pride. Their journey through Silver Falls had tested them in ways unimaginable, facing fear, moral dilemmas, and the weight of compassion, but their courage, unity, and love had reshaped the future of Zecora. The sun dipped lower, casting a golden glow over the river and villages. Silver Falls roared in the distance, a living reminder of what had been restored. And as the sisters stood together, hands entwined, they knew that their story was only beginning. The serpent, the river, and the people of Zecora were forever bound, and a new era of understanding, harmony, and hope had begun. The village of Zecora buzzed with cautious optimism. The river flowed with crystal clarity, fish darting between sunlit ripples, and the air carried the scent of damp earth, wildflowers, and the ever-present mist of Silver Falls. Yet the sisters knew that while the curse had been lifted, the kingdom remained fragile. Misunderstandings, fear, and the remnants of old superstitions could undo what they had restored. Nia, Mira, and Sumi gathered the villagers in the central square, beside the newly vibrant riverbank. "The river has been freed," Nia began, her ochre tunic catching the sunlight. "The serpent is no longer bound by sorrow, but that does not mean we are safe from future peril. It is our duty to protect the river, the land, and each other." Mira stepped forward, carefully explaining, "Knowledge is as important as courage. You must learn to read the river's signs, the rise and fall of waters, the whisper of currents, the growth of plants along its edge. These signs tell us when the river is strong and when it needs guidance." Sumi moved among the villagers, demonstrating how to sense the magic in the water and soil, how to use simple charms of wood, bone, and stone for protection and blessing, and how to honor the river's flow. Children watched with wide eyes, laughing as she helped them craft tiny pendants infused with small blessings. The serpent coiled nearby, observing silently but approvingly. Occasionally, he raised his massive head to touch the water with a gentle sway, creating ripples that encouraged fish to leap and spread life downstream. Villagers gasped, mingling with lingering fear, but the sisters reassured them. "He is no longer our enemy," Mira said. "He is part of our community, bound by respect and understanding, just as we are bound to the river." Even as the villagers learned, subtle disturbances began to appear. Shadows flickered at the river's edge, whispering winds carried strange voices, and some of the older, superstitious villagers struggled to trust the serpent fully. Nia recognized these as the lingering echoes of the Sky Mother's curse, remnants of jealousy and malice that could still affect the land. The sisters devised training exercises to prepare the villagers for both natural and supernatural challenges. They taught water rituals to bless the land, ways to discern illusions and deceit, and methods to channel their courage, wisdom, and compassion in daily life. Every lesson carried echoes of the sisters' own trials, passing down the knowledge that had saved Silver Falls. One evening, as the golden sun sank behind the forested cliffs, the serpent coiled around the riverbank, speaking in low tones. "Your work is wise. Humans often forget the balance between fear and understanding. You have shown them the way, but shadows linger. Watch carefully, sisters, for not all dangers announce themselves with thunder or roar." Nia, her ochre tunic now streaked with mud and water from the day's exercises, nodded. "We will protect them. Not through fear, but through knowledge, courage, and care. The river, the serpent, and the people will thrive together, but only if we remain vigilant." As night fell, lanterns floated on the river's surface, casting soft golden reflections across the village. Children laughed, elders whispered prayers of thanks, and the sisters stood together, eyes scanning the shimmering waters, knowing that while the curse had ended, Silver Falls still held secrets and challenges that only they could face. The river had been healed, but the journey of guardianship, of vigilance, unity, and understanding was only beginning. The dawn rose over Zecora in a wash of amber and gold, the mist curling gently above the Silver Falls. Birds called across the cliffs, and the river gleamed like molten silver. The villagers moved through their morning routines, fetching water, tending gardens, and offering blessings to the river, guided by the sisters' careful instructions. Nia, Mira, and Sumi were reviewing the protective charms along the riverbank when a sudden hush fell over the village. From the far edge of the forest, a figure emerged, cloaked in tattered robes that swirled with dust and leaves. The villagers instinctively stepped back, murmuring nervously. The figure approached, revealing an elderly man with deep-set eyes that gleamed with urgency and wisdom. His voice, when he spoke, carried the weight of miles traveled and secrets born. "Sisters of Silver Falls, guardians of the river, I bring word from the northern reaches. Strange disturbances have begun, rivers that once flowed freely are drying, crops are wilting, and the people speak of shadows that move with intent. Something stirs beyond Zikora, and it threatens all who rely on the rivers." Mira stepped forward, indigo tunic glinting, curiosity and caution in her eyes. "Who are you, and how did you find us?" The elder bowed respectfully. "I am Alyamo, keeper of northern riverways. The river's magic flows beyond your kingdom, touching lands unseen. When Silver Falls was freed, its currents awakened forces that have lain dormant. Some are benevolent, some are not. I have traveled far because I feared that your wisdom alone might not be enough to confront what has begun to stir." Sumi, green-eyed and thoughtful, asked gently, "What kind of forces?" Alyamo's gaze drifted toward the distant mountains, where mist twisted unnaturally over the northern rivers. Spirits corrupted by centuries of neglect and fear, creatures who once revered the rivers but now seek control over them. They feed on distrust and sorrow, and they grow stronger when humans act out of fear instead of understanding. Nia's fist clenched, ochre tunic catching the sunlight. "Then we must act swiftly. The villagers must be warned, and the river's guardians, both human and serpent, must be ready." The serpent, coiled behind them, raised his massive head, eyes dark pools reflecting the morning light. "You have freed me and taught your people well. But courage alone will not suffice. These shadows are cunning and patient. You will need more than courage, wisdom, and compassion. You will need unity, foresight, and vigilance." Mira studied the distant northern mist. "If these disturbances grow unchecked, they could undo everything we've rebuilt here. We cannot protect Silver Falls alone. We must journey to the northern rivers and discover the source of this corruption." Sumi nodded, green pendant glowing softly in the morning light. "Then we must prepare. The villagers will need guidance to safeguard themselves, and we must consult the river spirits to understand how these shadows came to be." Alyamo stepped closer, extending a hand. "I will guide you. My knowledge of the northern currents and spirits may save your people from harm, but you must move quickly. Time is short, and the balance of all rivers, Zikora and beyond, rests in your hands." The sisters exchanged determined glances. Nia spoke, her voice resolute. "Then we go. Together, as warriors, as sisters, as guardians. The river is alive, and its protection is our responsibility, not just for Zikora, but for all lands touched by its waters." The villagers watched in awe and anticipation as the sisters prepared for their journey. Lanterns floated on the river, casting golden reflections on the water, while the serpent's coiling form exuded silent strength and vigilance. Silver Falls roared in agreement, as if blessing the sisters' path forward. A new chapter of their story had begun. Beyond the familiar cliffs and the village they had saved, the northern rivers awaited, carrying mysteries, dangers, and tests that would challenge their courage, wisdom, and compassion like never before. The morning mist clung to the cliffs as Nia, Mira, and Sumi, guided by Alyamo, began their trek north along the river's winding path. The sun barely pierced the dense canopy above, scattering fragments of light onto moss-covered stones and tumbling waters. Birds called from the treetops, but even their songs carried an uneasy tension, as if aware of the shadows lurking ahead. Nia led with confidence, her ochre tunic streaked with dust and river spray. She held a dagger forged in hidden fire, charms of protection woven through her braid. Mira, analytical and cautious, scanned the path for anomalies, her indigo tunic fluttering in the soft breeze. Sumi, ever gentle-hearted, walked with her green pendant glowing softly, attuned to the subtle shifts in the river's magic. Alyamo pointed to a bend in the northern river where the waters darkened unnaturally. "Here," he whispered, voice tense. "The first signs of corruption. Spirits once loyal to the rivers have been twisted by fear and neglect. They feed on doubt, sorrow, and discord." As the sisters approached, whispers began to drift on the wind, soft but insistent. Shadows flickered beneath the overhanging trees, and the river's usual clarity was clouded with streaks of black and silver. The sisters slowed, hands gripping weapons and pendants. From the darkened waters, forms emerged, vaporous figures with glowing eyes, shapes shifting like smoke yet solid enough to cause ripples in the water. Their voices intertwined, a haunting chorus of lament and accusation. Intruders, guardians of Zecora, you cannot mend what has been broken, the rivers are ours. Nia stepped forward, voice firm. We are not here to fight without purpose. We seek to restore balance, to heal what has been corrupted. Step aside, or we will act to protect the rivers. The spirits recoiled, but one advanced, a tall, slender figure with eyes like molten silver. Balance. Healing. Foolish mortals. You cannot understand the depths of sorrow we have suffered. You cannot undo the centuries of neglect. Mira raised a hand, studying the creature. They are not evil by choice, she said quietly. They've been twisted by isolation, fear, and the shadows that followed the Sky Mother's curse. We must act with wisdom, or we risk creating more suffering. Sumi stepped forward, pendant glowing brighter. She whispered softly to the spirits, we understand your pain. We do not wish to harm you. Let us help you remember your purpose, to serve the rivers as you once did. Join us, and together we can restore life to all the lands the rivers touch. The spirits wavered, conflict evident in their glowing forms. Some flickered with recognition, memories of their former loyalty shimmering through. Others hissed and shrieked, lashing out in fear and anger. Nia, understanding the delicate balance, held her dagger defensively but refrained from striking. Alyamo guided them, chanting ancient incantations that amplified the sisters' magic, harmonizing courage, wisdom, and compassion. Slowly, the corrupted spirits hesitated, their forms less menacing, swirling instead with tentative curiosity. The river's surface began to clear as the sisters' influence spread. Ripples of silver light danced across the water, reaching into the shadows of the spirits. They recoiled, then melted into pools of harmless mist, leaving behind faint glimmers of their original forms. The northern riverside, currents flowing more freely, the darkness receding. Sumi exhaled, relief washing over her. It is done, for now, she said softly. But there are more beyond this stretch. The corruption has spread far, and patience alone will not restore balance. Nia tightened her grip on her dagger. Then we press onward. Together, as we have always been. The rivers, the spirits, and the people will rely on us, and we cannot falter. Mira nodded, eyes scanning the horizon. We will need all the lessons of courage, wisdom, and compassion if we are to face the challenges ahead. The northern rivers hide more than just corrupted spirits, they hide truths we must understand to prevent this darkness from spreading. The sisters moved onward, the northern river stretching before them like a silver ribbon through a forest of shadow and light, the promise of further trials, and further growth, guiding their every step. The northern river twisted through jagged cliffs and dense forests, sunlight barely breaking through the thick canopy. Every step felt heavier, as though the very air carried the weight of sorrow from centuries past. Nia, Mira, and Sumi moved cautiously, guided by Alyamo, who whispered warnings about each bend and shadow. This is where the corruption grows strongest, Alyamo said, pointing to a pool of water darker than the rest of the river. Its surface swirled with black and silver streaks, eddies twisting unnaturally. The curse did not end with silver falls. A fragment of the Sky Mother's wrath lingers here, festering in these waters. You must confront it directly, or it will continue spreading to Zecora and beyond. The sisters approached the pool, senses alert. Nia gripped her dagger, ochre tunic clinging to her frame. Mira studied the surface, her eyes narrowing. It's as if the river itself is in pain, she said. We must tread carefully. One wrong move, and we could make the corruption stronger. Sumi, green pendant glowing, whispered, I can feel the sorrow, the anger, it's almost alive. We have to reach its heart, understand it, not just fight it. Suddenly, shadows rose from the pool, forming into tall, sinuous figures. Their eyes glimmered with malice and despair. At the center, a colossal figure emerged, the spirit of the northern river itself, twisted and corrupted. Its voice boomed like rolling thunder. "Why do you trespass, mortals? You dare to bring light where darkness reigns." Nia stepped forward, voice steady. "We do not bring light to destroy, but to heal. Your sorrow has spread for centuries, but it does not have to continue. We seek to restore balance to the rivers, to the lands, and to all who live by them." The corrupted spirit's laughter echoed through the forest, sharp and hollow. "Balance. Healing. Foolish mortals. I was betrayed by those who once loved me. I have fed on despair, and through it, I grew strong. If you think you can undo my pain, you underestimate the cost." Mira whispered urgently, "It's not just power, it's a choice. We cannot simply strike it down. If we destroy it, the northern rivers may die, and countless lives will suffer. But if we try to heal it, one of us may be bound to the river, just as we freed the serpent before." Sumi's eyes widened. "We cannot abandon the people. But we cannot let the corruption spread either. We must act together, as sisters." The sisters joined hands, closing their eyes. They combined courage, wisdom, and compassion into a single force, focusing not on defeating the spirit, but on understanding and absorbing its pain. The water pulsed with energy, shadows writhing as the sisters reached into the heart of the river's sorrow. For a long, tense moment, nothing happened. Then the corrupted spirit's form wavered, its dark eyes softening. "Why do you not fear me?" it whispered. "Why do you risk yourselves for what has been lost?" Nia's voice rang clear. "Because fear alone does not protect the river. Only courage guided by understanding can save it." Sumi added, "We will share your pain, not destroy you. Let us help you remember your purpose, to serve the river and the people again." The spirit hesitated, then slowly dissolved into silver mist. The northern river shimmered with renewed vitality, currents flowing smoothly once more. Yet in the process, a faint shimmer lingered near Sumi's pendant, a reminder that healing such deep wounds always carries a cost. Alyamo stepped forward, voice somber. "You have done what few mortals could. But remember, every act of compassion carries consequence. You have saved the northern rivers, but the balance must always be guarded." Nia looked at her sisters, determination in her ochre eyes. "We will guard it. Together, always. The river, the spirits, and our people, we are bound to them, just as they are bound to us." As they moved onward, the sisters felt the weight of their choices and the true cost of their courage. The northern rivers were safe, for now, but the shadows of the past still whispered, waiting for the next test of unity, wisdom, and heart. The sisters stood at the northern river's edge, watching as the water shimmered with silver and green light, reflecting the morning sun. Birds sang cautiously, and the wind carried whispers of relief from spirits newly restored to balance. Yet, despite the river's renewed vitality, a tension lingered in the air, a subtle reminder that every act of healing carried unseen consequences. Alyamo approached, robes flowing, eyes narrowed in concern. "You have healed much, sisters, but the rivers remember pain as well as joy. Every shadow you disperse leaves ripples, sometimes far from where you stand. You must remain vigilant. The northern rivers will not remain untouched by the past for long." Nia adjusted her grip on her dagger, ochre tunic damp with dew. "We expected challenges, but what ripples do you mean?" Alyamo pointed to a stretch of river flowing into a narrow canyon. "The currents carry fragments of the Sky Mother's curse. Though weakened, some remain, seeking hosts, humans, spirits, even creatures of the forests. You may have healed one heart, but the echoes of the curse can awaken elsewhere." Mira, indigo eyes scanning the water, said, "Then our work is not finished. We must map the northern rivers, teach the villages, and strengthen the guardianship we began in Zikora. If these echoes spread, they could undo all that has been restored." Sumi, green pendant glowing softly, knelt beside a cluster of rippling water lilies. She whispered to the river spirits, feeling their subtle tremors. "We must be careful not to act out of fear. If we overreach or rush, the shadows may twist our intentions. Healing must come from patience and understanding." Suddenly, the river trembled, and a deep rumble echoed through the canyon. From the mist, a figure emerged, tall, cloaked in flowing shadows, eyes glowing with an unnatural light. Unlike the corrupted spirits before, this figure radiated intelligence and cunning, moving with the confidence of one who had studied the rivers for centuries. Alyamo's face darkened. This is not a fragment. It is something older, something that has waited for the rivers to grow strong again. The Sky Mother's curse is clever, but this entity is more than mere malice. It seeks control, not chaos. Nia stepped forward, dagger ready. Then we face it, together. Courage, wisdom, and compassion have brought us this far. They will carry us through this as well. Mira studied the figure, calculating. We must be strategic. Direct confrontation may provoke it. Perhaps we can use the lessons of the northern spirits, show it the value of coexistence instead of domination. Sumi, voice soft yet firm, added, we must remember the serpent, too. His wisdom can guide us. We are not alone in this. If we act as one, we can face whatever this hidden force may throw at us. The shadowed figure moved closer, its presence bending the light of the morning sun into strange, twisting patterns across the river's surface. It paused, and a voice like silk and steel whispered, so, these mortals believe they can guard the rivers. Brave, but naive. Do you understand what power you challenge? Nia raised her dagger higher. We do not challenge for power. We guard for life, for balance, and for the people of the rivers. We will not let darkness consume what we have restored. The figure's glowing eyes lingered on the sisters, studying, calculating, waiting for a misstep. And then, slowly, it moved to the side, merging partially with the river's currents. Its presence was felt but not fully seen, a silent promise of trials yet to come. Alyamo spoke quietly, voice tense. This is only the beginning. The northern rivers are alive, but so too are the remnants of curses and ambitions older than any of us. You must be ready, not just as warriors, but as true guardians, able to face what cannot always be fought with steel. The sisters exchanged determined glances. Nia's ochre eyes blazed. Myra's indigo gaze sharpened with resolve. Sumi's green pendant glimmered with steady hope. The rivers were theirs to protect, and no shadow, no curse, and no hidden force would sway them from their path. The northern river flowed on, carrying whispers of balance, power, and unseen challenges yet to test the courage, wisdom, and compassion of Zikora's fiercest guardians. The northern river shimmered under the pale light of early morning, currents rippling with power and tension. The sisters, Nia, Mira, and Sumi, stood at its edge, pendants glowing softly, weapons ready, hearts steady. Alyamo's presence beside them offered wisdom, but the weight of responsibility rested squarely on their shoulders. From the swirling waters, the hidden force emerged fully. It was massive, ethereal, shifting between forms of water, shadow, and smoke. Eyes glowed like molten silver, filled with cunning and the echoes of ancient malice. The air thickened, and the river seemed to hold its breath. You trespass, mortals, it hissed, voice layered with hundreds of whispers. You dare to challenge the legacy of the Sky Mother. Do you not know your place? Nia stepped forward, ochre tunic fluttering, dagger glinting. We do not challenge for ourselves, but for the rivers, the spirits, and the people who rely on them. Your place is not to dominate but to coexist. Balance, not control, is the way of life. The hidden force laughed, water rippling violently. Balance. After centuries of neglect, of fear, only strength rules. You are naive if you believe compassion alone can command obedience. Mira, indigo eyes sharp, whispered to her sisters, we cannot fight it with force alone. We must reach its essence, reminded of purpose, of unity. Remember how we healed the northern spirits. Same principle, wisdom and compassion, backed by courage. Sumi, green pendant glowing, stepped closer to the river. She raised her hands, speaking softly to the currents and shadows alike. You were not born to destroy, but to guide. Look at the rivers, you feel their flow, the life they carry. Join us in protecting them, instead of feeding on their fear. The hidden force faltered, ripples of uncertainty spreading through its form. The river brightened, silver light merging with its dark currents. Yet a tension remained, it had grown powerful, cunning, and patient. One wrong step could reignite malice. Nia raised her dagger, but did not strike. Instead, she placed her hand on the riverbank, letting courage and determination flow into the water. We will not harm you, but we will not retreat. Coexistence requires understanding and trust, not dominance. Mira chanted softly, recalling the incantations Ayumo had taught them. Her words wove through the currents, harmonizing with Sumi's gentle vibrations and Nia's steady courage. The river pulsed, glowing with renewed clarity, while the hidden force's form shivered, wavering between light and shadow. Finally, the entity spoke, voice softening yet still echoing like distant thunder. Why do you persist? Mortals rarely endure such trials with unity and patience. Why protect the rivers when so many fear their power? Sumi answered, eyes shimmering. Because life flows from them, and the rivers connect everything. We protect them not for glory, but because it is the right path. Courage, wisdom, and compassion guide us, and we will not abandon that path. The hidden force hesitated, then gradually dissolved into a swirl of silver mist, merging with the northern river. The current stabilized, flowing freely, vibrant and strong. The shadows that had once threatened villages and spirits vanished, leaving behind gentle ripples of reflection and calm. Ayumo exhaled, relief evident. The northern rivers are safe, for now. You have proven yourselves true guardians, of life, of the waters, and of the balance between all things. Nia, Mira, and Sumi exchanged glances, exhaustion and triumph in their eyes. This is not the end, Nia said quietly. We have learned that courage and compassion can face even the darkest shadows, but vigilance must continue. Mira nodded. We must teach others, spread understanding, and honor the rivers. Every river, every spirit, every life, it all matters. Sumi smiled softly, pendant glowing. And we will face whatever comes, together. Not as mere warriors, but as guardians, as sisters, and as protectors of the balance between humans, spirits, and the river. As the sun rose higher over the northern cliffs, the sisters stood together, gazing at the river's shimmering flow. Silver Falls awaited their return, the serpent's wisdom still guiding them, while the rivers beyond promised new mysteries, adventures, and challenges. Their journey was far from over, but for now, Zecora and the northern rivers thrived, safe under the watchful eyes of the warriors who had come not as brides, but as guardians. The Silver Falls roared with life once more, its waters glimmering in the golden afternoon sun. Nia, Mira, and Sumi stood at the riverbank, watching the villagers celebrate the restored balance. Children splashed in the shallow streams, elders blessed the flowing water, and the serpent coiled nearby, eyes soft with gratitude, no longer lonely but content in the harmony the sisters had helped restore. The sisters smiled at one another, their journey of courage, wisdom, and compassion having forged an unbreakable bond. They were no longer just warriors, they were guardians, protectors of Zecora and its rivers, and keepers of the lessons that even the darkest shadows could be healed with understanding and heart. As the villagers gathered around, cheering and offering thanks, the sisters knew that every river, every spirit, and every life was now safer because they had chosen unity over fear, compassion over vengeance, and courage over hesitation. Nia spoke, her voice carrying over the waters, remember, true strength comes not from domination, but from protecting what you love. Mira added, wisdom guides the way, but it is compassion that shapes the path. Sumi smiled, holding her glowing pendant, and together, with courage in our hearts, we can overcome even the deepest shadows. The serpent raised its head in silent approval, a gentle mist rising around it, as if blessing their resolve. And so, the rivers flowed freely, the villages thrived, and the legacy of the three sisters, the warriors who had come not as brides, but as guardians, would echo for generations to come. If you enjoyed this mesmerizing tale of courage, sisterhood, and magical rivers, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more enchanting African folktales and adventures. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that brings legends to life.